It's beginning to feel. Do you know there's Christmas songs in the charts already?
Welcome back, Lee.
Thanks very much, Greg. Greg,
Yes.
the first thing I said to you that your teeth look white.
Do they?
Did you get? You did get something done?
Huh?
I'll leave you a week. Oh, they're whiter than your shirt's white.
Yep.
You say they're whiter than white.
I don't know.
You must have used
New
Daz or something.
toothpaste?
You toothpaste? What is
You
it?
can't use Daz on your teeth, kids.
No, I know you can't. That's
My
it. I know
word.
it's not a funny joke or nothing. But can we?
But
what,
it is.
What,
Let's not be woke either.
no,
Sorry,
no. But
go on.
okay.
Carry on.
What kind of toothpaste are you using?
I don't remember.
You don't
It's
remember?
recommended by the majority of dentists.
What is it? Sensodyne or something? No.
I don't know, Lee.
I don't know myself. Come here. I'll leave you a week, right?
Yep.
And we talked about this before, about dreams and stuff. And we says, oh, we must get somebody on. And the week that I'm off, what do you have on the radio? You have the expert talking about dreams.
Dreams.
Yeah.
And what do you have any recurring dreams?
I can't remember.
Seriously?
I probably do have dreams. I obviously do, but I just can't remember off now on the spot.
See, the thing about interpreting dreams, apparently you need to have a big long conversation, and I just want answers, do you know?
Yeah. Did you throw anything at her? Do you know
Yeah.
off the radio? Do you know, by
No.
the way, I dream away about this?
No, I did
No?
it on the radio.
Yeah. What's she say? What did you dream about then?
Oh, all the dreams mean something like, you know, you have to dig a bit deeper to find out what they mean. Like, I wanted, like, if you dream of falling, I wouldn't mean it means that. Do you know what I mean? But
Right.
anyway.
Yeah. She was good then, was she? I heard a wee bit. You say it was.
Yeah, it was interesting. But we'll do it again.
Yeah, good.
We'll review it.
All right, okay. New year.
All right, good to have you back.
Good
That's
luck to
you.
you.
All your
I know
work
what I'm
for
going to get you now
Christmas
for Christmas.
What? Sunglasses for
I'm
my
going to
teeth?
spend. Let me see. Much going to spend? Only €3. I'm going to buy you a toothbrush for Christmas.
I don't need one. You said my teeth are looking good.
No, but it's, you need to keep it up.
All right, Gucci, have a good Monday. Back with us tomorrow morning, of course, at 6:30. It is 9, though, now, a minute past, in fact. Let's get a news update, and it's over to Michaela Clark.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. A public meeting is being held next week as concerns over Letterkenny University Hospital continue. Health Minister Stephen Donnelly is to visit the hospital this week in response to serious issues raised by GPs and consultants with regards to patient safety in the hospital's emergency department. The meeting, organised by the Letterkenny Hospital Campaign Group, will take place at 8 p.m. on Thursday, November the 30th at the Mount Errigal Hotel, Letterkenny. The group's chair, Mary T. Sweeney, says the government needs to listen also to the concerns of the patients attending the hospital.
If the government only talks to one side of the concerned group, which is the medical corps, then they must also look at the community as well to bring all those concerns together to really discern what has to be addressed and what has to be a priority to have a more successful hospital that we can all have confidence in.
It's been recommended an extra seat be allocated to the Midlands North West constituency ahead of next year's European Parliament elections. The Midlands North West constituency will be expanded to include the counties of Laois and Offaly also. Following a month-long public consultation, the Electoral Commission concluded that an additional 14th MEP be allocated for the upcoming elections, stemming from Ireland's growing population and EU rules on the European Parliament's composition. Donegal Senator Niall Blaney announced his intention earlier this year to contest 2024's European elections. Elderly people in one estate in Letterkenny are effectively trapped in their homes during the winter months as they are afraid to leave their properties due to the absence of lighting. Residents in Muckish Avenue are said to feel unsafe within their homes also, as there are no external lights in the area. It's led to calls from Councillor Jerry McMonigal on Donegal County Council to install additional lighting as a matter of urgency.
These people have been living here for a long number of years, and the lighting is totally insufficient now, and we need to restore their confidence and make them feel safe in their homes, and indeed when they leave their homes they go to a local shop or to visit neighbours. So I've asked the council to look at this and see if we can speedily put these lamps, these street lights in place.
Farmers using quad bikes must wear helmets and undergo safety training from today. The new quad bike law is one of the first of its kind in Europe. It comes as the Health and Safety Authority launches a campaign encouraging farmers to think about their health and well-being on the farm. Finally, for weather, fresh and breezy today with a mix of sunny spells and showers. Showers will be widespread this morning but will become more isolated during the afternoon with highest temperatures of 10 to 12 degrees. That's all from Highland Radio News for now. We'll be back with news again at 10 o'clock. Until then, you can keep up to date with the latest local news on our website highlandradio.com. Good morning.
Tá séisiúr an lúling. Agus cé gur féidir le duine bit an flua all, déadach sé a bheith ina hinnas trom chúiseach de leanaí. Scapan vírus an lú go héasca ó gine go duine. Sin é an fá gur féidir le leanaí idir 2 agus 2 vaccín flu a oil séir an asca inis. Tugtar é trí spray sróine agus cuireann sé cosant thóálta agus éfachtach ón bhlú ar fáil, mar sin ná bhíoh éon bhfuil ort. Cur cuinis ar an asca in áire le de gugtar tailig nó le de chogaseoir agus chosan do chailig ón bhlú. Tuile ólis ar hsc.ie.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio. And now it's time for the talk of the Northwest, The 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, good morning to you. It's approaching 5 minutes past 9 on this Monday. It's the 20th of November 2023. How are you all keeping? I hope you had a lovely weekend. And we look forward to your company over the next 3 hours on this programme and throughout the day here, of course, on your #1 local radio station. Not a pleasant morning for travelling, that is it. Damp, wet and windy. Can't help anyone standing out waiting for a bus. But anyway, hopefully all get safe to wherever you're going. Right, we have our lines open for you right now for you to get involved in the conversation. Start your own conversation. What issues do you want to talk about? Is there something you wish to raise with us? Well, feel free to get in touch with us on 086 60 25,000. That's our WhatsApp and text number, and you can send your voice notes to that number as well. 07491 25,000 is the number to give us a call on. We have Caroline, of course, taking your calls, and Shannon on the programme as well. And if you want to email, it's comments@highlandradio.com. And an early reminder for you that you can join us on the TV as well. Maybe you've got the house to yourself and you want to watch local content. Well, you can open up the YouTube app on your smart TV or your Fire Stick and put in Highland Radio Ireland and watch us live there on your big screen or across your mobile devices on the same app. We're also on Facebook, Highland Hub or Highland Radio News and Sport, and on X formerly. Twitter, of course. Right, now let's get to the newspapers. The Donegal News this morning. Eyebrows were apparently raised at a business conference in Burt when prospective Finance Minister Pearse Doherty emphasised the challenge of low wages faced by workers in Donegal and the wider region. Addressing the concerns of the local Sinn Féin TD, the issue didn't sit well with delegates, many of whom insist that paying staff remains their foremost challenge. Terry Hughes, proprietor of a filling station on the Ballyshannon-Bleak border, shared his perspective with the Donegal News, stating that sustaining a business has become almost impossible. Getting staff is difficult and wages continue to creep up, he said. On to the Derry News this morning, and 2 young Derry women who saved 2 teenagers from drowning have been honoured for their bravery and their heroic act. Rebecca Ebbs and Zara Reid each received a prestigious Water Safety Ireland SECO Just in Time Award at a ceremony in Dublin Castle on Tuesday evening. The pair saved 2 girls who had gotten into difficulty in the water and were in danger of drowning at Buncrana Shorefront back in May. Congratulations to them. On to the nationals now. Let's go to the Irish Times first. And the influence of the so-called, it doesn't say so-called, but it's labelled far right. The influence of the far right in Ireland is growing as tech companies, particularly X, fail to enforce their own guidelines against misinformation and hate speech, according to a new wide-ranging study of Irish online communities. Researchers from the Institute of Strategic Dialogue analysed 13 million posts from 1,640 accounts over the past 3 years and found misinformation is growing across all platforms, having originally coalesced around COVID-19. The study, funded by the European Media and Information Fund, examined the spread of disinformation, that's information shared with the purpose of deception, and misinformation, information spread regarding less of attempt to mislead by far-right conspiratorial figures in Ireland. It found the pandemic brought together diverse groups such as right-wing extremist, anti-vaccine campaigners and New Age spiritualists around various COVID-19 conspiracy theories, although some of those conspiracy theories have turned out not to be as such, and I'm not partaking in it or amplifying it, but I do find it quite interesting when they do these types of studies. I mean, what kind of opinions and feelings are they talking about? Are they talking about people who perhaps didn't believe lockdowns were the right way to approach things. And you can see now sometimes the government might suggest that at times maybe those weren't the right decisions, or keeping children out of school, for an example. I think it's generally accepted now that that may well have been a mistake. Well, reading on here, these links didn't disappear when the pandemic was declared over, said researcher Aoife Gallagher. And again, I'm not contesting the findings of it as such. I would like to read the report, but they say that then people have conspiracy theories over refugees, asylum seekers and the LGBT community. And I think sometimes maybe what's seen as misinformation is really just other people's views that maybe others don't agree with. But as I say, that was the findings. That's on the front of the Irish Times. If you want a view on that, 086 60 25,000. I just think we have to be careful to be able to have open and honest conversations that aren't designed to be offensive, but where different views are discussed rather than different views, in inverted commas, being labelled as one thing or other. But anyway, on to the Irish Independent. The Consumer Watchdog has warned retailers it will be actively inspecting them to ensure they're not offering fake discounts in the run-up to Black Friday. And it's not just on in person, it's online as well. I had, just for the crack, believe it or not, I had put a number of items, 3 items that I was interested in that are hard to source locally in my Amazon basket. And just as Black Friday was approaching, I went back into the basket and none of the items were available at the lower price at which I had put them in the basket. And now I wait with interest to see if the price returns down lower closer to Black Friday, because what seems to be happening online is that as Black Friday approaches in the weeks in advance, the prices of these 3 electrical items, they were increased up by 30 or 40 euro, and now I watch with interest to see how they come down and be presented as bargains at Black Friday, even though they may well be, and I'll report back to you, they may well be listed at the same price they were before they were increased, if that makes sense. But this focus is on in-person shopping here. The Consumer Watchdog has also called on retailers to tell if a competitor is offering fake discounts. The Competition and Consumer Protection Commission is the enforcement body for new rules that come in last year on price reductions. Retailers face fines of up to €5,000 if discounts they claim are on offer in sales, but it's not genuine. But I mean, it's not hard to make it genuine. And a lot of these discounts that you see on TVs and what have you are actually passed on not necessarily from the retailer, but from the television provider. And I think at times it can be quite hard for companies to recoup that discount from those suppliers. On to the Irish Daily Mail, and Media Committee Chair Niamh Smith has demanded an explanation from the media regulator on Ryan Tubridy's new radio deal amid concerns it could threaten Irish jobs. The Fianna Fáil TD has said she will discuss with members of the Oireachtas Media Committee whether Cumann na Mban should be summoned to explain why it greenlit the controversial deal that will see Tubridy's new UK radio programme syndicated on 5 regional Irish stations. Ryan Tubridy announced this week he will be hosting a 3-hour mid-morning show on Virgin Radio UK 5 days a week in the slot after star DJ Chris Evans. The programme will be simultaneously broadcast on Dublin's Q102 station every weekday, with a 2-hour Tubridy weekend show to be broadcast on the Dublin stations, as well as on Limerick Live 95 LMFM in Meath and Louth, and on Cork's 96 FM, which, as I say, raised my eyebrows a little bit last week because, as I say, I do recall there were 2 radio stations that were the one radio station but had shared programming, and I seem to recall the BEI weren't happy with it at all. And I'd be interested to go through some of the licence decisions that were made, because I was almost sure it was brought up, and yet we have now one show going across 5 stations. So obviously attitude or policies have changed there. The Irish Daily Star this morning: the rate of increase of Ukrainians arriving in Ireland over the past 12 months was 10 times higher than the average increase in numbers fleeing to the EU over the same period, according to new figures. Official statistics published by the European Commission show that there has been a 72.1% increase in the number of Ukrainians seeking international protection in the Republic in the 12 months to the end of September 2023 as a result of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Over the same time frame, that number of Ukrainian citizens seeking refuge across the EU rose by 7.2%. So it rose by 72.1% here in Ireland and 70.2% 7.2% across the EU. The figures were published shortly after Taoiseach Leo Varadkar said the government had to take action to slow down the number of Ukrainians coming to Ireland. It's the second highest rate of increase among the 27 EU member states over the past year, after Romania, where the number of refugees from Ukraine have effectively doubled to around €140,000. But we aren't a great deal behind there either. And finally... there's two more pages to go. We'll go to the Irish Daily Mirror now. And a deal to release Israeli hostages in Gaza is close, Qatar's Prime Minister says. Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani said he is growing in confidence over an agreement which is understood to involve up to 50 women and children being freed in return for a 5-day ceasefire. It's thought they would be released in small groups every 12 hours. There are around 240 hostages. A senior US official has suggested a ceasefire deal is needed to ensure the delivery of desperately needed aid in Gaza, and it is desperate over there. Listening to the WHO, we know it's desperate anyway, but just to hear it described as is shocking altogether. And lastly, Ben Dunn, who passed away from a heart attack on holiday in Dubai, had been given a clean bill of health after a full medical checkup a few months ago. This according to The Sun. The business tycoon, who was 74, was sitting by the pool while on holiday at the popular Jumeirah Beach Hotel with his son Mark when he suffered a massive heart attack. The paper says that the medical check was a follow-up in the operations he'd had to have stents put into his heart. He had been telling friends he was in great shape and had never felt better. One pal said he was delighted with the results of his checkup and said that he felt the best of health. Sadly, the heart attack was so sudden and strong that there was nothing anyone could do to save him. So that's Ben Dunn, who has passed away following a heart attack in Dubai. And that was a run through some of the stories in the newspapers today. Right, just before we take a break and welcome our next guest, I want to give you news of a quiz that's running on the show today. It is the Silver Tassie that we're working with on this, and it is a cracker. You've got chances every day to enter. The overall prize is given on Friday. Here are the details if you want to get involved in this competition.
On this week's show, with thanks to our sponsors, the Silver Tassie Hotel and Seascape Spa, we're giving you the chance to win their Relaxation Heaven package. This luxurious 2.5-hour package includes an aromatic steam session and cocoon room, a hot towel, foot and back cleanse, an indulgent full body massage, a mini escape facial with scalp massage, all followed up with snooze room relaxation time and refreshments. To be in with a chance of winning this fantastic prize on Friday, simply answer the following question. What is the day after Thanksgiving known as in terms of shopping deals? Is it A, Black Friday, or B, Blue Friday? Text or WhatsApp your answer name and address to 086 60 25,000.
Christmas party nights at the Silver Tassie. Drinks reception, 4-course festive meal, live music by the Logues, Jim Devine and more power to your elbow. For dates and bookings, call the Silver Tassie Hotel, proud sponsors of today's show.
Fídorach Kishan, Shaukorach, Píberach Dylan. O hív na haireach de cahan mo dargo jargid na rudi will tusa passion to fuha. Ma hacking de agricht le eirecht na heden, beide gemacht to calliche jontus al fun guste takicht de agricht de eirechte. Iritish oscultinish heritage.council.ie/funding. Le takicht on reintehechte realtus outjulige eirechte.
Do you suffer from high cholesterol, menopause symptoms, digestive issues, anxiety, aches and pains, or a lack of energy? The highly trained team at The Natural Way Letterkenny can provide advice on natural remedies for a number of individual health issues. The Natural Way also has its own brand of herbal treatments to help fight fatigue, relieve digestive discomfort, maintain a healthy immune system, and alleviate common menopause symptoms. The Natural Way at Letterkenny Shopping Centre, your one-stop health shop.
Do you need a UK address? Save hundreds of euros on custom charges shopping online with Space Hub Dairy. We provide a full virtual office address mailbox service for all your business and personal use. Save your business hundreds, possibly thousands on custom charges with Space Hub Dairy. Call 048 7187 8077 for more details.
You know know me, I do like a home that's warm and cosy during these cold winter months. In fact, the warmer and cosier, the better. That's why I insist on Willow Warm long burning briquettes. They're grown and made here in Ireland, and they're 100% carbon neutral. So Willow Warm briquettes are good for the environment, for the country, and your pocket. Willow Warm, the brighter, cleaner, greener way to a cosy home. See willowwarm.ie for stockists.
It's flu season, and while anyone can catch the flu, it can cause serious illness in children. The flu virus spreads easily from person to person. That's why children, aged 2 to 12, can now get a free flu vaccine. It's given through a nasal spray and provides safe and effective protection from the flu. So don't delay. Book a free appointment with your GP or pharmacist and protect your family from the flu this winter. Visit hse.ie/flu for more information. From the HSE.
Highland Radio time checks with Expressway. Travel Route 32 from Letterkenny to Dublin when you book online and travel for less. Expressway, bringing you the time at...
Okay, the time's approaching 20 minutes past 9. Now, there's about 4,000 of you, not shy on 4,000 of you, who are still operating under a boil notice. A boil water notice was issued for customers in Donegal supplied by the Cranford Public Water Supply and Downings. It follows consultation with the health executive. Ishka Aaron issued the boil water notice for the area supplied by the Cranford Public Water Supply, including Carrigart and Downing areas, to protect public health. It says approximately 3,734 people are affected by it, and it was issued due to disinfection processes issues at the Cranford water treatment plant. Now, as I say, this has been ongoing for quite some time. So we got in touch with Irish Water to see if anyone would explain, what actually caused this. Is everything still in place? What should people be doing? How can you protect older people? How can you protect younger people? When might it be lifted? What's the process once it's lifted? How long will it take? Basic questions that I think, 4,000 of you deserve to have answered. But unfortunately, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a 6-word response. Apologies, I don't have a spokesperson available. So unfortunately, you will remain in the dark other than to know that you should not be drinking that water. And I tried to get some further information, but unfortunately, not forthcoming for you. But anyway, we'll endeavour to find out more for you. Right, let's go to health now. And a public meeting to address the escalating and continuing concerns at Letterkenny University Hospital is going to be held at the Mount Errigal Hotel Thursday the 30th of November at 8 p.m. Mary T. Sweeney's chair of the Letterkenny Hospital Campaign Group and Ain2 rep in Donegal and joins us on the programme now. Good morning to you, Mary T. Thanks for your time.
Good morning, Greg. Good morning, listeners.
I can hear you. I can. Right, okay. So, I think it's quite obvious the reasons, but that doesn't mean we shan't go through them. Just before we get to that, we do know that the Health Minister is coming to Donegal on Friday. He's going to be meeting with hospital representatives, GPs, consultants, one would presume. Any word of a meeting or any engagement with patients' representative groups or anything along those lines at this point?
I know a number of the representative groups have put on a request, as we have, and we also went through Charlie McConlogue looking for a request, but we've had no word back. But we remain optimistic. We had intended inviting him to the meeting on the 30th, because at that stage when we arranged this, he hadn't yet confirmed a date of availability. He'd actually not been available for Donegal. So now that he has confirmed the date, but we will still be inviting him along on the 30th on that night as well, because we will have a range of people from advocacy groups in attendance.
I presume you welcome the meeting with the consultants and the interjection too by the consultants and the GPs, but you believe there is another group of people that need a voice in this crisis?
I think Letterkenny Hospital is a community hospital. It is a collective that we all own and share and must take responsibility for, whether it's for the fundraising to raise necessary facilities and services up there, or whether it's just to generally support the staff and the difficult work that they do. And as I say, that if one part of the working team get a voice, then it must ensure that the full team is heard. So in order to get the best possible solution to address any issues of concerns, then you should listen to every voice in the room to make sure that all voices are heard equally.
And the sooner we get progress on this, the better, because it's very important, I believe, that this is talked about publicly. But at the same time, I don't, I'm sure you don't, and neither do the doctors or consultants want to cause any undue stress or anxiety in patients. We don't want to pee off the staff thinking that all we ever do is talk about negative stuff, even though I think it's generally accepted this is all about improving the situation for staff and so on. You know, like we want to get to a point, don't we, where there's always going to be issues in an acute hospital, but where we can move past these critical problems and talk about why it's such a great facility and why everyone who needs to go there should go there just as soon as they need to.
Of course, completely. And we wouldn't have the fantastic facility that we have if it weren't for people like Friends of Letterkenny Hospital down through the years. And I only did a small bit to support them many years ago, when in the early days of getting the first CAT scan and that. It was many years ago. It was friends of mine got me to do auctions and that just to raise funds. But every bit contributes, every bit helps. And like, likewise, when we had sick children in Crumlin, we did a massive big campaign, family members, to raise money for Crumlin at that time. So as I say, as needs must, and this is a big need for our community to come together and support not just the doctor's voice, but the patient's voice. And as I say, it was nearly 30 years ago I first campaigned to get an advocacy in the hospital. And I don't think one person is enough. And people need to be informed that there is a person there to help you understand the messages being relayed. And that's a really positive stand. But people often don't realise that there is somebody they can ask to come down and sit and listen with them when the doctor's explaining they're being told, to put it in layman's terms that they can completely understand it. Because when you're sick, you can't speak out for yourself. And when families are nursing somebody or nurturing somebody that's been ill or sick, you do need support at that time.
Now, just down to the timing of this, and I ask this just with respect, but to have every card on the table. Obviously, we had the letters that came from the doctors and the GPs at the start of October, and now they've secured this meeting. Well, they had the meeting with SEALTA representatives, and now they have a meeting with the Health Minister on Friday. And we heard also from GP representatives that, they're going to give it to the new year, and if things don't improve, all options are on the table, up to including calling the people out onto the streets. Is there any concern, or do you have any concern that this might seem like that we could be splitting sort of the movement, so to speak, in having this public movement?
Absolutely not, Greg. The exact opposite we're looking to do. We're looking to gel and to bring unity and community behind our doctors and staff of the hospital and the patients collectively. And that's what this is all about. And it would be I would like to think that our campaign in the snow and ice of last January, or January past there, is what really started to kick this all off. We have written to doctors. We've had awful problems with the emails because we don't have an approved email for health services. They've all bounced back. So can I please let all the doctors know that we have invited you, but we're having difficulties in getting these emails to go through in the health service email system. But we're writing out and posting letters to some of the key speakers and the doctors and consultants, and we will be finishing that this week. Some of them have already been written to. And anybody that feels you need a voice or a platform, this is your opportunity, and we're providing that platform. We've also had people from advocacy groups like the MS Donegal group, and there's people from parents with children with autism that I have been working with for the last year to try and get something collectively together. And then I had found out that there is an advocacy group that they didn't know about. So this is really, there are basic things in our community we need to bring together to make a better cohesion or a service that's more visible and easy to find. Because I had to do quite a lot of research when people asked me to represent, to find them out about this or in relation to health services. There's quite a bit of trawling of the internet to do, Greg, as you well know. Yeah. And it's not always easy. So we need to make these services easier and have a one-stop shop. And that if you go to the front desk in the hospital, there's a free page there with all the groups in the Donegal community that you can look up. And if you have a condition, a particular medical condition, that you don't have to run to the department and get a leaflet if it's to do with your liver or if it's lungs or if it's oncology. There should be a one-stop shop there at the front of the hospital, like a citizen's advice, that if you have a concern, you go in there and you can get that without it being difficult.
Okay. One last difficult question, Mary T, but I do have to ask. Obviously, you're an election candidate. We are in an election cycle. Are other political representatives going to be invited to speak at this conference? Now, I know you will say it's not political that you're here as chair of the Letterkenny Hospital Campaign Group, but we are, as I say, leading up to the local election. So, is this apolitical? Are other political figures being invited to speak?
Greg, I'm inviting today anybody that feels that and we have discussed, in actual fact, Greg, I have no qualms about standing back from anything I do, because what I do, I'm doing for my community. I have no big political affiliation in the sense that I have an ego politically. This is about services that I have experienced, that I have personally been through or have helped other people to get through and to navigate the health services, and all that any of us in this committee, and the wonderful thing about your advice in the early days of this campaign was to keep it apolitical. So I've actually met some wonderful new people, and some of them don't even live that far from me, we've come together because of your own advice, and it's been fantastic. And some of those people have quite severe or serious medical conditions themselves. So as you know, you have to be very delicate on how you can, encourage people to speak about something so personal. And this is an opportunity that I would love the consultants, the doctors, the nurses that have spoke out to take your part on the podium. And what we have decided is, because often people on the floor are very emotionally involved and want to express a story, that the very fair way to accommodate their stories would be to invite people to write your personal, it can be a positive story. It can be a concern that you have in your experience in dealing with the health service, and write that story down. And if the minister comes, we will give them to him on the night. And if he doesn't make our meeting, we will photocopy those documents, those personal stories, and we will give them to the head of the CELTA group, who is responsible to manage our hospital, and we will personally deliver them to the minister to say, these are the voices of the people of Donegal who need your support to improve and expand on the services that we have in our hospital, to give us all confidence for the staff. If we can't retain our staff, Greg, we have to change tactics.
And just to recap again, too, the reason, not the reason, but the reason why things like this are happening is because we heard from consultants, 11 initially, and they've sent another letter where there's 28, 29 of them as well. We were hoping to speak about that, but obviously with the health minister coming up. But anyway, in the first letter, it said that if something wasn't done really quickly, and I think at that time they were looking for a plan within the next 8 or 9 weeks, that there was a risk of service collapse at Letterkenny University Hospital, and that was a warning from the senior medical staff within there. So we can't ignore that. That can't be brushed under the table. We can't bury our heads in the sand and pretend it's not happening. When the consultants are saying that, we do have to talk about it. And I know it's not all of the staff are on board with this and they just want to get on with the work. I get that. And we don't want to discourage anyone that needs a hospital to go to a hospital. But when we're hearing that from the consultants, it simply just cannot be ignored. And that's why this meeting is happening. I presume Mary T. Sweeney to row in behind them and say, right, okay, we hear what you're saying. We share those concerns. And this is a public platform to talk about it too.
Completely. And Greg, the reality is that somebody has to kick this off. And I would like to think that our meeting in the January past has kicked it off, because if we continue to, our community, many people in the community are saying to me, we're losing our community spirit. There are so many people that have migrated into Donegal, whether it's from abroad or from other counties, that we must be cognizant of the responsibility we have to maintain a community strength and unity, to protect the main services that we have, like the hospital, like our community centres, like our sports centres. We need to work together to retain. Those things don't just happen by chance, and it's so imperative that, so if there's anybody that is really, I would invite everybody to write their stories, to bring them along on the night. Some people will get personally speaking from the floor, but the podium will be there for the advocacy groups to say what they feel they need, because that will be collectively, hopefully, the easiest way to get the most stories told that can be recounted and fed back to the minister.
Okay, that meeting takes place at the Mount Errigal Hotel on Thursday, the 30th of November. So it's Thursday week, and it's at 8 p.m. and it's an open invitation from the Letterkenny Hospital Campaign Group for...
We have set up a Facebook page that's just getting finished off today. So again, if people would look up the Facebook page, we will put the details on there and the contact details. As I say, I'll have that finished by this evening, but it's just been set up there in the last couple of days, and we're just getting Donna, the secretary, runs that, so she'll be able to communicate and contact anybody that gets on the Facebook page.
Yeah, all right.
They can contact through me.
Let us know. Okay, listen, thank you very much for that. I appreciate your time. That is Mary T. Sweeney there, who is speaking there in a role as chair of the Letterkenny Hospital Campaign Group. Right, again, don't want to keep talking about the same things, but my phone has blew up from people on various platforms talking about traffic into Letterkenny. Apparently lots of you are late for lots of things, and a lot of messages saying the same thing. We were patient, but we're not moving this morning. So if you're sitting in your cars, I'm sorry, I can offer you no comfort other than to say that there is a reason, and that's there is a collision on the Polestar roundabout. So it is holding traffic up, causing severe delays. So on this occasion, it's not down to light sequencing or what have you, that there has been a collision on the Polestar roundabout, and that is slowing things down. So that's all I can say to help you understand what's going on there. Any further information on that, by the way, text us 086 60 25,000.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
Christmas party nights at the Silver Tassie. Drinks reception, 4-course festive meal, live music by the Logues, Jim Devine, and more power to your elbow. For dates and bookings, call the Silver Tassie Hotel, proud sponsors of today's show.
It's hard to picture the damage high blood pressure can do. So imagine a balloon, the pressure building, causing increased strain on your heart, damaging it and other major organs, and putting you at risk of a stroke. The pressure building until it's too late. 2 in 3 adults over 50 have high blood pressure, and half don't know it. Once detected, it's easily managed. Get your blood pressure checked by your GP or local pharmacy before damage is done. A message from the Irish Heart Foundation.
It's the Black Friday sale at Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring. We're offering our Black Friday deals all week. Get up to 70% off all tiles, all wood flooring and all bathware. Everything's reduced and everything's in stock. The 70% off Black Friday sale at Right Price Tiles and Wood Flooring. Stores nationwide. Sale now on.
Hi, Nathan Carter here, and I'm delighted to say I've just had 2 installations from Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms, and I have to say their attention to detail is second to none. With their sleek design and craftsmanship, your dream kitchen is just a visit away. So why not head over to Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms and let the magic begin.
Cherrymore Kitchens and Bedrooms, Donegal Town. More kitchens your way since 1996. Visit cherrymore.ie or call 9725822 to book your free design appointment.
If you need advice on what's best for coughs or colds, or what's best for sore throats or flu, just ask at your local Brennan's Pharmacy. If you need advice on the best vitamins and tonics to put a pep in your step, just ask at your local Brennan's Pharmacy. Whether it's about backaches, headaches, or tummy aches, your Brennan's Pharmacy team can help. If you need advice from someone you trust, we're here for you at your local Brennan's Pharmacy, Buncrana, Clonmany and Creeslow.
To help with the cost of heating your home during the winter months, the Fuel Allowance Scheme is now available. This allowance is paid at a rate of €33 a week for 28 weeks. To find out more and check your eligibility, visit gov.ie/fuel allowance. The quickest and easiest way to apply is online at mywelfare.ie. One payment per household. A Government of Ireland initiative brought to you by the Department of Social Protection.
Around the Northwest will be live this Monday from the Mount Errigal Hotel, Letterkenny, to mark the official start of the Buy Donegal campaign, which runs from November 20th until December 22nd. Tune in to find out about the Buy Donegal campaign, which showcases the best of Donegal business to a global audience. That's this Monday on Around the Northwest from 12 midday.
Okay, so mixed reports on whether or not there was a collision. It was nothing serious in any case at the Polestar roundabout, causing traffic chaos. Some people have travelled through the roundabout and said there's no sign of a collision. So we'll just try and get to the bottom of that. And it will help if more of you, the listeners, get in contact with us. Did you see a collision there, or is it light sequencing? Please let us know. Right, Anne-Marie joins us on the programme now. Anne-Marie, thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Greg.
We were speaking to... good morning to you, Anne-Marie. We were speaking to a lady last week whose older son, was waiting for an ENT appointment at Letterkenny University Hospital. Colette was her name, of course. You could hear the distress in her voice, and it was clear the anxiety he was going through. He had a particular condition that was causing great distress to him. You were able to relate to that conversation, Anne-Marie, were you?
Totally related to it, Greg. It's an absolute disgrace what the young people here in Inishowen and the surrounding areas has to go through, waiting on an appointment to get in to see an ENT specialist, which doesn't apply to anybody here because they have to travel to Sligo, I think is the nearest hospital. My son was on a waiting list for several years. He has had 3 ENT surgeries since he went on the waiting list here. He keeps getting out these forms to say, do you still want to avail of the service? He signs them, sends them back again. Maybe in 6 months' time he'll get another one. Now, he was told that he could go cross-border, which he did. He went to a hospital here, crossed the border, and he had a procedure done, which was not a success. He paid for it himself, and he claimed it back through the cross-border. Now, he's had another surgery done in London, which he funded himself because it was affecting his mental health, like his issues with mental health as well. I can relate totally to Colette. Is that the lady's name?
Yeah, and Colette's son had a particular condition that made her son's head, feel full all the time. You can hear your heart beating. You can hear your when you speak. You can hear your own voice. Is this the same condition your son had?
Well, the only way that I can describe it, Greg, is if you put your head underwater.
Right, that's exactly it, yeah.
Yeah, that sensation the whole time. So, like, obviously you've been using the pool and you've got water in your ear. Now, it'll go away for us, but that sensation is there the whole time, morning, noon, night. Now, and no one seems to be listening at all to the condition or to the people. Like, I'm not a racist person, but I think it's got to the stage now that we have to be looking after our young people here in Ireland, because if we don't, what's going to become of them? To be suffering from mental health issues alone is a serious, serious condition. But when you have complications from another illness, which is adding to the mental health, something has to be done. Now, to ring down to the hospital, you'll get... First of all, you'll get an answering machine. They'll ring you back, which they have no recollection of anybody ringing in the past. It's just passed the buck from one to the other.
Now, the series... we'll get to that in a second, Anne-Marie. See the series of operations he's had. Well, firstly, did the operation in Harley Street offer him any relief?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so he's improved now, has he?
Yes.
Okay,
not completely, but
his life's more tolerable. Okay, but the series of the 3 surgeries he had here, and maybe it was 4 with the cross-border one, were they like grommets and stuff, or they just were doing the wrong thing, or what was going on there?
No, he only had 1 surgery here. He's on the waiting list. He had 1 surgery here, and he's had 2 since applying. What I'm trying to say is here, he's had 3 procedures done from he went on the waiting list here.
I get you now. 1 across border, and then the other, of course, over in London. I get you.
Yes, and he went on the waiting list. Yes.
We simply don't have the staff in ENT services to probably even maintain the list, let alone reduce it.
Well, you see, that's what the issue is.
Yeah.
But the issue is, why do we not have the staff? Like, we don't have an ENT specialist in Letterkenny Hospital. We don't have an eye doctor in Letterkenny Hospital. We've no facilities around here for anything.
Mm-hmm.
You have to travel to Sligo when you get to the opportunity of going that far. And of course, we're going to be taking it. We're going to be taking it surely because we're waiting that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It is...
but I can totally sympathise. Like, it's not only when you're dealing with someone with issues with their ears, their nose and their throat. Mm-hmm. It all goes under the one category. Mm-hmm. So it does. But you have to remember, they cannot fly because of the hearing issue that they have. There's a possibility, they don't know what's wrong with their ear. So there's a possibility that if they get on an aeroplane, it could be an inner ear thing. You just can't fly.
And the thing about it too, Anne-Marie, is that this is similar to other issues that we've talked about in the past. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of individuals across Donegal affected by this, but they're all singular voices. In other words, we have what's going on in your family and the awful stress and distress that's caused. Yeah. Then we have Colette's house, where she's gone through an awful lot with her son and the anxiety and the stress that's caused. And you can dot those houses all across this region. But because they're individual cases, it's individual battles with the HSE. Again, it's if people could come together under one umbrella and say, right, it's unacceptable what's happening in ENT services, maybe something could be done. But unfortunately, at the moment, these all come across as individual cases. But I'm sure there are hundreds of people out there and hundreds of families that are going, it's the exact same for us. Or they've just got a 10 or 11-year-old diagnosed and they're wondering, is he or she going to be 18 or 20 or 25 before they get their problems solved? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it kind of suits, to some extent, the HSE, because you're all a big string of individual voices.
Yes. Yes.
You know, you get where I'm coming from. You don't have to be listened to. Because I just send you a letter, that shuts you up. I'll send Colette a letter, that shuts us up. But if there were 100 or 150 saying, look, enough is enough, we can't go through this any longer, then you can't ignore that voice.
But who's going to listen to that? What do we do? Where do we go? Or how do we all get together to sort this out?
I do understand. Well, listen, the parents of children looking to access OT services and what have you, they got together and have made great inroads. So maybe something like that is required. Anne-Marie, I don't know, and I don't know who the person is to do it, but we are all our friends and our neighbours and our community. We're all fighting these individual battles on our own, and it's just so distressing because you're concerned about your son, Colette's concerned about her son, and there's other families all concerned about their loved ones, and they all feel alone and isolated, and it's horrendous.
Well, thanks be to God, Greg, my son is a lot better.
Good.
But he has gone and he has paid private for his treatment. What happens if you can't afford that? You suffer in silence.
Or you don't, and that's the tragic thing, because Colette's son, according to Colette, he's expressed in the past that he doesn't know how long he can continue living the way he's living.
Yeah.
You know, and I have to be really careful with how I say things. And if anyone has any issues like that there, they need to get help from the appropriate agencies. But we don't know the extent of this. And that's from Colette. She's worried about her son far beyond this awful sensation he has. And stick your fingers in your ear and see and go through an entire day with both fingers jammed tight into your ears, and that's giving you some indication of what life is like, and there's no respite or recovery from it. And I don't think that even tells the full story, Anne-Marie, but it might give people an idea of what the likes of your son was going through and Colette's son was going through.
One instance is, now roll up a bit of roll and stick it into one of your ears, not the two ears. I tried it here just to see what the experience of it is. And you can hear it's like a sensation all the time. It's like a ringing in your ear. So it must be intolerable to have to live with that. So
Then it affects your equilibrium as well, because our ears are incredibly important to our balance, our,
Exactly.
there's lots. Okay. You hoping Colette and her family get some resolution to their issues soon too?
I would love to hear that they get some kind of answers and some kind of treatment.
All right,
for
Anne-Marie.
her son.
Listen, thanks for that. I'm glad to hear things have improved for your son, but he had to go to Harley Street for that, and he was lucky to be able to fund it. It costs thousands, and as you quite rightly point out, not everyone can afford that. Anne-Marie, thank you for your time today.
The 9 till noon show with the Silver Tassie Hotel. The perfect venue for a Christmas get-together, serving festive lunch, afternoon tea, dinner and drinks throughout December. Follow Silver Tassie Hotel on Facebook and Instagram.
The government's Connecting Ireland Rural Mobility Plan is rolling out more public transport nationwide. This year, 36 new and enhanced TFI local link bus services and 4 new and enhanced bus Éireann routes have launched. With 22 more to come before the year ends, that's more than one a week. Rail services are also being upgraded with a greener, cleaner fleet. Each time you choose public transport, it helps reduce Ireland's transport emissions. Wherever you're going, your journey counts. Visit gov.ie/your journey counts. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
I wonder, will it snow this Christmas? Because I wonder how I'm going to heat the house. Wonder, will I have enough left over for food and toys?
For families facing poverty, this is the wonder of Christmas. Please support the St. Vincent de Paul annual appeal. Donate at svp.ie or call 0818 176 176.
For fantastic Black Friday deals, visit Rossview Interiors in Letterkenny, where there's amazing offers on a large range of sofas, in stock and ready for delivery before Christmas. There's also huge savings on bedroom and occasional furniture, dining sets, and Hollywood mirrors with dressing tables. The perfect Christmas gift. That's right now at Rossview Interiors, the home of better deals. At Rossview Business Park, Letterkenny, just off the Polestar roundabout.
There's bingo every Monday night at Halfway House Bingo Burnford. Doors open at 7:30 with eyes down at 8:30. €2,500 must go. The snowball is now €2,000 on 45 numbers or less. If you're not in, you can't win. That's Halfway House Bingo tonight at 8:30.
Quilcha cares for Ireland's forests sustainably. As our country seeks to combat climate change, we'll do more. Our ambition is to create new forests, manage our existing forests for greater carbon capture, and provide more habitats to enhance biodiversity. We'll support creating new homes by delivering sustainable Irish wood products. And we'll increase the number of beautiful forest recreation spaces for everyone to enjoy. Quilcha. Forests for climate, nature, wood and people. For a greener future for all.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by Grant. From condensing oil and HVO biofuel boilers to heat pumps and underfloor heating, you can trust Grant to heat your home. Visit grant.ie.
Okay, fresh and breezy today with a mix of sunny spells and showers. Showers will be widespread this morning, but will become more isolated during the afternoon with long dry spells developing. Maximum temperatures of 10 to 12 degrees in fresh and gusty northwest winds. Now we bid huge congratulations to Councillor Troy Gallagher. Good morning to you, Troy.
Good morning, Greg. Good morning to you and all your listeners.
You were nominated and bestowed a Freeman of the City of London by past Lord Mayor Alderman Vincent Keaveney and Cole Brian Kay for outstanding service to public life and community. How does it feel?
Correct.
How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels great, to be honest, and also really honoured, but at the same time quite humbled. Yeah, something I never expected when I first came over in 95, moved to London in 99, and as I said to friends afterwards, and in my speech, a few words after the investiture, I was thinking about Mum and Dad, my late Mum and Dad, who lived in Finsbury Park. Mum worked in London Zoo, Dad worked building the Barbican and on construction, building roads, etc. And it reminded me actually back then that would have been inconceivable for many Irish people to have, and also for the many Irish people that built Britain and contributed over the years. So it's equally as much, I accept the word, not just for what I've done, but for all the unrecognised work Irish people have done over the last 60, 70 years, Greg.
Yeah, and I'm sure your mum and dad were watching on, incredibly proud of you as well. I got the impression that much of the work you do in terms of trying to help people in London, you would be doing anyway, but it is... it's good that you have, elected office to be able to perhaps do it more effectively, if that makes sense. Like a lot of the issues you work on, you're passionate about outside of politics in any case.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. And I suppose being a councillor gives me that level of influence and access in order to achieve that the social change that's needed, whether it's tackling poverty, building more social housing. Bunhill in my own ward has the highest level of social housing built in the last 10 years. We're due to build another 100 social housing, 100 private to pay for the social. But equally, what is very important is to be able to give that platform towards Irish diaspora and Irish issues too around here. Because for the last 10, 15 years, whilst a lot of good work's been done by Tony McFadden, Tony Kelly, so many other people in the health sector and the construction, they don't always get the recognition that they deserve. And equally for the younger generation coming behind, they don't have that level of support for when they do have challenges. And mental health, you're over from my Gallaball, you in Highland, and I spoke then about the mental health issues, including the issue of suicide that affects young men, particularly in Mount-Irish as well. And that is something that's not going to go away. And it's equally, as I said before, it's prevalent in Donegal.
Yes, of course. And then we have those that moved from Ireland over to London, made their lives there, and then maybe they acquire a long-term illness or disability or age. And even though they've lived there all of their lives or much of their adult lives, you can then start to feel quite isolated and alone, and what happens next, you know what I mean? That's also an area that you and others over there are really quite conscious of.
Absolutely. And I think you can be very, very successful, and you can be on 6-7 figure salary in London and still be very lonely, even if you have a partner and family, or even if you're a single. And loneliness is quite a silent killer in around London, which is why since the pandemic, many people have decided actually to leave London, to move out for a number of various reasons. I know people who've said, mortgage paid off, I'm retiring from whatever I'm doing, spend more time with family, moving back to Ireland. And, I'm very keen for those people, with my work with the diaspora, to stop the brain drain. And if there are people that want to move back to Ireland, to be able to support them to do that and be able to contribute to Irish society and community, wherever they may choose to live. And that's equally important to continue to try and tackle immigration. But you and I have spoke before about young people leaving Ireland because of the lack of housing, more so than employment. And that's something we really need to get to grips with. And I think if there's anything that people like myself and other people who are involved in that sort of work have some of the solutions that can be utilised by government, local councils, etc., we should be able to do that there and have and feed that back and have some contribution from experience.
Okay, brilliant stuff. So, as a freeman of the City of London, what can you herd sheep across London Bridge or?
I knew you were going to come out with that.
Well, I have to ask what the benefits are for. It's all about the benefits too, Troy.
Well, there was in the old days.
You know it too well. Obviously, I'm too predictable. Go on.
In the old days, there was loads of benefits towards that there. So you could drink freely in the city and have a free free travel home. You could be able to carry a sword around in order to protect the city or protect oneself. But now, the ceremonial is driving the sheep across the London Bridge. And on that too as well, I think what I would like to do this year, maybe my first one, is to work with, try and speak to Tim Kelly, who was honoured last year for Freedom for City of London, to see if we could do something for our charities, get a number of Donegal people to walk across with us on the sheep, driving sheep over London Bridge.
That sounds like another Highland Radio trip to me, Troy. I don't know what you're thinking. Okay, brilliant. Well, listen, you'll give us more details so we can publicise that when you get it all buttoned down, obviously.
I will. Greg, could I just say one quick thing as well, if you don't mind?
Please, go ahead.
I heard in Highland this morning that Councillor McMonigal raised the issue about more street lighting for Muckish Avenue. And I have to say, obviously, I'm over and back to Muckish, and that is very much a live issue that was raised with me, and it is very, very dark at night. And given that we have got long-term residents there, one of the issues is there's cracks on the pavements and there's cracks on the sides of the road, and it is quite dangerous for elderly people walking across, slipping on wet leaves when there is no light. And I really welcome Councillor McMonagle raising this, and I hope that Letterkenny councillors all join him to sort that out, because that is something that is very much on residents' mind, and for their own safety, and equally to try and create more lighting as a deterrent for anyone who may have less than generous or noble intentions in and around Muckish Avenue.
Brilliant stuff. Okay, thanks very much, Troy. Again, congratulations. That's Labour Councillor Troy Gallagher, who is Freeman of the City of London. Back with more after the news and obituary notices.
Your one-stop shop this Christmas. Gift vouchers for the Silver Tassie Hotel and Seascape Spa are available online at silvertassiehotel.com or from hotel reception. The Silver Tassie, proud sponsors of today's show.
Cén fág an rúcht an Vulcan. Ó éfacht ag inscanna Ghana. Cén dólia Austin Crystal. An overíon overwália. Cén cuí cohiach an spás. Cad is cúis le tunardí éagsú le fuma. Ó éfacht ag ráic na sula arm loss.
Tá páistí lán de cheiste na fisracha. Tug an blast óliaach de ESB atá curtha fála an RDS, cuaach de fáistí an óliaach de tá taobh hir de cheiste na siimplí a isrú. Díra cosú leis na ceiste na seo. Cuir ceist do runga ag esbscienceblast.com.
Basket weaving, falconry, uilleann piping. When it comes to heritage, we put our money where your passion is. If your organisation supports Ireland's heritage, you may be eligible for a Heritage Organisation Support Fund grant. Applications now open at heritagecouncil.ie/funding, supported by the Department of Housing, Local Government and Heritage.
Suffering from hearing loss? At Kingsbridge Hearing Care in Ballykelly, our expert audiologists are ready to see you. Our brand new clinic location within Kingsbridge Northwest offers a full range of hearing aid provision, including enhanced hearing assessments and earwax removal treatment. So what are you waiting for? Don't let hearing loss hold you back. Call us on 028 7707 6050 or visit kingsbridgehearingcare.co.uk to book your appointment today.
The Hyundai Electric family, designed for yours. The Ioniq 5 with a range of up to 507 kilometers. The all-new Kona with a range of up to 514 kilometers. And the Ioniq 6 with a range of up to 614 kilometers. Hyundai, our family, designed for yours.
Your local dealer is Divers Hyundai, Canal Road, Letterkenny. Call 91 22 600.
See 80s pop sensations to Pow live for one night only Friday 24th of November, St. Colum's Hall, Derry, performing all their hits, Heart and Soul, Valentine, and their #1 classic power ballad, China in Your Hand, plus many, many more. This is a night not to be missed. See Pow live in their only Irish show Friday 24th of November, St. Colum's Hall, Derry. Tickets available from musiccapital.org and tapow.co.uk.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, I'm Michaela Clark with the news at 10 o'clock. A public meeting next week will discuss the ongoing concerns over Letterkenny University Hospital. Health Minister Stephen Donnelly is to visit the hospital this week in response to serious issues raised by GPs and consultants with regards to patient safety in the hospital's emergency department. The meeting, organised by the Letterkenny Hospital Campaign Group, will take place at 8 p.m. on Thursday, November the 30th at the Mount Errigal Hotel, Letterkenny. The group's chair, Mary T. Sweeney, says the government needs to listen also to the concerns of the patients attending the hospital.
If the government only talks to one side of the concerned group, which is the medical corps, then they must also look at the community as well to bring all those concerns together to really discern what has to be addressed and what has to be a priority to have a more successful hospital that we can all have confidence in.
It's been recommended an extra seat be allocated to the Midlands North West constituency ahead of next year's European Parliament elections. The Midlands North West constituency will be expanded to include the counties of Laois and Offaly also. Following a month-long public consultation, the Electoral Commission concluded that an additional 14th MEP be allocated for the upcoming elections, stemming from Ireland's growing population and EU rules on the European Parliament's composition. Donegal Senator Niall Blaney announced his intention earlier this year to contest 2024's European elections. Israel says it's working to finalise the terms of a deal that could see dozens of hostages held by Hamas freed. A pause in fighting is likely to be agreed in exchange, with Qatar acting as a mediator. Spokesperson for the Israeli military, Major Libby Weiss, says they will facilitate any political agreement that is reached on hostages.
Something that certainly on the political and diplomatic level will have to be decided, but we in the military will facilitate whatever decision is made. And I should say that the fastest way for the hostages to come home would be for Hamas to release them immediately without any terms or conditions or demands.
Elderly people in one estate in Letterkenny are effectively trapped in their homes during the winter months as they're afraid to leave their properties due to the absence of lighting. Residents in Monkish Avenue are said to feel unsafe within their homes also, as there are no external lights in the area. It's led to calls from Councillor Jerry McMonigal on Donegal County Council to install additional lighting as a matter of urgency.
These people have been living here for a long number of years, and the lighting is totally insufficient now, and we need to restore their confidence and make them feel safe in their homes, and indeed when they leave their homes they go to a local shop or to visit neighbours. So I've asked the council to look at this and see if we can speedily put these lamps, these street lights in place.
Letterkenny native Troy Gallagher says he's honoured and humbled after being awarded the freedom of the City of London. Councillor Gallagher was bestowed the freedom at a ceremony on Saturday for outstanding service to public life and community. He told the 9 till Noon show a short time ago that he accepted the freedom of the City of London on behalf of all the diaspora who contributed to Britain's society.
I was thinking about Mum and Dad, my late Mum and Dad, who lived in Finsbury Park. Mum worked in London Zoo, Dad worked building the Barbican and on construction, building roads, etc. And it reminded me actually back then that would have been inconceivable for many Irish people to have, and also for the many Irish people that built Britain and contributed over the years. So it's equally as much, I accept the word, not just for what I've done, but for all the unrecognised work Irish people have done over the last 60, 70 years, Greg.
Weather now fresh and breezy today with a mix of sunny spells and showers. Showers will be widespread this morning but will become more isolated this afternoon. Highest temperatures of 10 to 12 degrees. That's all from Highland Radio News for now. We'll be back with an update again at 11 o'clock. Until then, you can keep up to date with the latest local news on our website at highlandradio.com. Good morning. The obituary notice says for this Monday morning, November the 20th. The death has occurred of Teresa Burke, née Coyle, Beechwood Nursing Home, Leland Bridge, Carlow and formerly of Newton Cunningham, Donegal. Teresa's remains will repose at the Eternal Light Chapel of Rest at Mountaintop, Letterkenny this evening from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Funeral Mass in All Saints Church, Newton Cunningham at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. The death has occurred of Michael Mickey Bradley Lisfannon Fawn. Michael's remains are reposing at his home. Removal from there tomorrow morning at 10:15 to St Mary's Church, Cockhill for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock, followed by interment in the adjoining graveyard. Requiem Mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. Family time please from 11 p.m. to 2 p.m. and on the morning of the funeral. Family flowers only please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Murphy Funeral Directors. The death has taken place of Anne Stewart, née Quinn, 55, Crowhan Heights, Lifford and formerly of Brocka, reposing at her home. Funeral leaving her home tomorrow morning at 10:15 for Requiem Mass in St Patrick's Church, Murlock at 11 o'clock. Interment afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam. The death has taken place of Fred Codlip Dewey Downings. His remains are reposing at his late residence. Funeral from there today going to the Church of St John the Baptist, Carrigart for Requiem Mass at 11 o'clock, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Family time before the funeral this morning. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
Tá séisiúr an lúling. Agus cégur féidir le duine ar bit an flua all, déadach sé a bheith ina hinas trom chúiseach de leanaí. Scapan vírus an lú go héasca ó gine go duine. Sin é an fá gur féidir le leanaí idir 2 agus 2 vaccín flu a oil séir an asca inis. Tugtar é trí spray sróine agus cuireann sé cosant thóálta agus éfachtach an bhlú ar fáil, mar sin ná bhíoh éon bhfuil ort. Cur cuine séir an asca in áire le de gugtar tailig nó le de chogaseoir agus chosan do chailig an bhlú. Tuile ólis ar hsc.ie.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio.
Okay, you're welcome back to the programme. Good morning. If you are just tuning in, where have you been? We had an interesting first hour, but we'll move on with the second, and lots of your calls coming in here. No collision at the Polestar roundabout, just an absolute joke. Sat for nearly 40 minutes this morning, and my daughter's bus was late for college. Trying to get into Letterkenny this morning on the special needs school bus. 40 minutes delay, says another listener. Thank God I'm far away from the Polestar roundabout today, but I'm pretty sure the collision was caused by the confusion, inappropriate lights at the roundabout. Well, we've had more information that suggests that perhaps there was a breakdown briefly at around 8:45, but no collision. Came out of Letterkenny 10 minutes ago. There was no crash at that point and nothing moving inwards. Way out Manor Dual carriageway, backed way up Cullen Road and Lurgy Brack. This is not down to a collision. Another just through the Polestar, 2 cars with hazards on stopped at the exit towards Neil T. Blaney Road. Caller says there was a car broken down at the lights at the Polestar roundabout at 8:45 this morning, which is being confused as a collision. But the traffic is still congested and backed up to the Drumore exit on the Lifford Road. Also, tailbacks up the Lurgy-Brack Road. Caller is unsure if the car is still stuck or if tailbacks are as a result of the lights. Letterkenny traffic, our lights out on the Polestar, says another 20 minutes on Lurgy-Brack. Greg, what's going on with the traffic? The queue is crazy coming in the dual carriageway, sitting 20 minutes, and the queue must be as far back as the halfway point of the dual carriageway. Another, traffic is an absolute disgrace in Letterkenny this morning. Another dual carriageway this morning to Letterkenny. Absolute joke. 45 minutes and nowhere near the lights. Will someone please try and sort this mess out? And on they go. Lots of unhappy drivers this morning. Look, we are, I think everyone's been given plenty of time to see how things are working. We will get back in contact with the engineers and find out, have they been tweaked? Is this it? Is this the norm? Are there other things that we can expect to happen to improve the traffic? People need to know at this point. So we'll make those inquiries and find out if this is the new norm that we need to become accustomed to, or are they still tinkering with the lights? You would think 2-3 weeks on at this point that the sequencing would be optimised, but clearly, off the back of so many texts and calls on a Monday morning, it is not the case. A petrol station is charging €125 extra every time you fill your car, and the money goes back into your account after 24 hours. This has been going on for a month. Is it legal? Contacted the garage, and the person he was talking to hung up on them. He said they're trying to blame this on the banks, but the bank said it's nothing to do with them. We've had this before. And it's pre-approvement on a card, and often it is service stations whereby there is no attendant or shop, and you put your card in and you fill up your tank and then you're charged however much you charge. But we have had reports in the past, and we've talked about in the past, where there is a hold of €125 put in someone's card, and it often doesn't go back until the next day. They're not overcharged, they get the money back, but it's pre-approving it. You know, if you do it with other company, it can be a 1 or 2 cent. But seemingly, when you use some of these stations, they lock off your card the maximum your average person is likely to put into their car. Although that's well and above that, but you know what I mean? So that seems to be the issue. It hasn't gone away. I thought it had. We talked about it extensively. But if anyone else wants to get involved in that conversation, please let us know. Greg, there was an accident there this morning and the Gardaí were there. Then a car broke down, which added to the delays. Please have a little patience, says a listener. Right, we want to keep you on the road with free fuel. We're going to try and do that now with our friends at Kelly's Centre at the Mountaintop in Letterkenny, because they're getting ready for Santa season and are celebrating the community this Christmas. They'll be working with Little Angels and raising funds over the festive season. The team will have a number of giveaways in store and on social media, and there'll be golden tickets in their store at the Mountaintop with discounts and a grand prize. And you may see them out and about with a very special guest. Today, one lucky listener is going to win a €50 fuel voucher to fuel up at their local Circle K. And the question is as follows: what traditionally orange vegetable is considered good for your eyesight? Text your answer, your name and where you're from to 086 60 25,000. Of course, it's free for you to enter. What vegetable's normally orange and is normally good for your eyesight? 086 60 25,000. We'll keep those lines open for a bit. One of you will win a €50 fuel voucher for Circle K. So, again, just to remind you of the question, what orange vegetable is considered good for your sight? Text or WhatsApp 086 60 25,000 with your answer and your name and where you're from so we know how to contact you. And we'll pick a lucky winner out in the not too distant future. So stay tuned for that. And it's all about the giveaways today because we have our friends at the Silver Tassie have a really cracking end of week prize. And it's great to have them on board again here on the show. Here are the details as we head towards the bingo numbers.
On this week's show, with thanks to our sponsors, the Silver Tassie Hotel and Seascape Spa, we're giving you the chance to win their Relaxation Heaven package. This luxurious 2.5-hour package includes an aromatic steam session and cocoon room, a hot towel, foot and back cleanse, an indulgent full body massage, a mini escape facial with scalp massage, all followed up with snooze room relaxation time and refreshments. To be in with a chance of winning this fantastic prize on Friday, simply answer the following question. What is the day after Thanksgiving known as in terms of shopping deals? Is it A, Black Friday, or B, Blue Friday? Text or WhatsApp your answer, name and address to 086 60 25,000.
It's time for NCBI Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Monday the 20th of November. You're playing on the green sheet. The reference number is S11. It's game number 47. The numbers are 20, 46, 2, 4, 28, 58, 80, 55, 83, and finally 77. Phone your claim to 9104833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your NCBI bingo information at highlandradio.com.
It's your local sports club, but it's much more than that. It's a social hub, a source of community pride, a place to get passionate about. Texaco Support for Sport awards €5,000 to a sports club in every county. That's any sport, every county. All you need is a valid Games and Sports exemption number and a lot of passion. Enter before 31st of January 2024 and make your club a star. For more info, terms and conditions, see texacosupportforsport.com.
Thinking of changing your floors? Why not see what Florid Letterkenny has to offer? Florid have a large selection of solid, semi-solid and laminate click vinyl wood flooring, together with a fantastic choice of parquet, herringbone flooring, all at incredible value. Don't delay. Call Florid today on 087 161 7008.
Hi, Kate Appleby here. Just wanted to let you all know my exciting new autumn shoe collection is available nationwide in all good shoe stores. KateAppleby.com. Hope you enjoy my shoes.
Looking for a good night's sleep? Restex Beds has you covered. Located at Mountaintop Letterkenny. They are the best in the Northwest to get a quality bed or mattress. Come visit them today and wake up feeling rested and refreshed. Restex Beds, Mountaintop Letterkenny.
The 9 till 9 show with the multi-award-winning Silver Tassie Hotel. Planning dream weddings for generations. Email weddings at silvertassiehotel.ie for a brochure or your private show around.
All right, more of your texts coming in here. Shocked with the delays in traffic in Letterkenny this morning, almost 10 a.m. and still not in work. What's going on? Why? Were you supposed to be in at 9? My God, that's bad. Hi, Greg. Traffic queue all the way back out the dual carriageway at 10 a.m. Traffic lights, great job. Well, that's not down to a collision or a breakdown if you're still out the dual carriageway at 10 a.m. Traffic in Letterkenny, unbelievable. Queued halfway out the dual carriageway. I'm part of the Donegal Motor Club. People complain about rally weekend. There's never been traffic as bad as now today. As a town councillor, Ascatown councillor, emergency services can't get into town. Another, there's a collision on the Polestar, although we're having mixed views on that, and that was at 8:45. It's now 10. Hi, Greg. Just heard you chatting about the traffic in town. It has become a nightmare. They've the town destroyed with traffic lights, and it's a big deal, for people looking to get in and out of work, in and out of hospital appointments, but also, of course, we need to be able to get our emergency services in and out of Letterkenny as well. Listen, thanks for all of your calls coming in on that, and so much more besides. We'll get to more of those as the morning progresses. But we're joined on the programme now by Majella O'Donnell. Good morning, Majella. Thanks so much for joining us. Great to speak to you.
Good morning, Greg. You too.
How are you keeping, Majella?
I'm very well.
Good.
Yeah, great. Thank God. Not a bother.
All right. And looking forward to the Letterkenny University Hospital Northwest Breast Cancer Charity Bowl in aid of breast cancer research at Letterkenny University Hospital. It's on Friday, the 1st of December at the beautiful Silver Tassie. And of course, Majella, this is an event and a cause that you're more than happy to be involved in, I'm sure.
Absolutely, I am. It's been going on for quite a few years now, and it's a great event, I have to say. It's great fun. It's lots of interesting people. Ciara Doherty is going to be presenting it. Well, should I say she's the guest of honour, and of course Noel Cunningham, our wonderful Noel, will be the MC for the evening. I would just kind of come on really to say to people, it's a fantastic way of supporting, breast cancer in the Northwest, in our own region. It's specifically for Letterkenny General Hospital. It's a great evening. You don't have to buy a long dress to go. You can go in your Sunday smarts, or you can go all out. It's up to yourself. But it's a great event, and it's a great way, as I said, of supporting local breast cancer fundraising, because we do an awful lot of research, or they do an awful lot of research in the hospital. And, I would ask people to please, consider going out and get a ticket. It's on Friday, the 1st of December. The tickets are €50. So that's, a very reasonable price, considering you're getting your meal and everything, the entertainment, and money is going to the charity as well.
Yeah, and just to recap that, it's a 4-course meal and dancing then to the Red Alert Band and a DJ afterwards. So you're getting an awful lot for your €50, but also you can be comfortable in the knowledge that you're supporting these great causes and research in any cancer, and particularly, not exclusively breast cancer. It's so important, Majella, isn't it, that we
absolutely
find ways to beat this awful disease.
Absolutely. I mean, 1 in 2 of us, and, people are, neighbours, whatever, are getting diagnosed every second day. It's so common. And, I just think, it's a lovely way of giving to charity. I mean, you could just give €50, but to actually, that's what I always think of it as a donation, and what you're getting for your donation is a fantastic evening of entertainment and food and lots of great company. So, that's a very fair exchange, I think, for €50. So I would encourage everybody, if they can, to go and get tickets. And it's in the Silver Tassie in Letterkenny, and has been, for quite a few years now. So they've been fantastic supporters as well.
Yeah, and it is a beautiful setting as well. And it's a time to celebrate, and it's also a time to remember, Majella.
This is it. Absolutely. Hit the nail on the head, Craig. For all those people this year that have maybe passed with cancer, for people that were diagnosed or whatever, it is a great way of remembering, celebrating, and as I said, looking forward and to more cancer, what do I say?
Better outcomes, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. More cancer treatments, better treatments. I mean, even myself now, I'm 10 years, thank God, this year I was, cancer-free, if you like. And even in that 10 years, the amount of research, the amount of, forward work that has been done with new treatments is phenomenal, even in 10 years. And that's why we need to keep, throwing money at this cancer, unfortunately, because one day we will beat it for sure. We just got to keep at it.
Yeah, we are making those inroads. And I understand the statistic that you used, because it's one that is really stark, that 1 in 2 of us will get cancer.
Unbelievable.
But we all get it, really, in a way. And I'm not doing anyone who's actually gone through it like yourself a disservice, and we never know what's ahead of us. But it is our partner or our mum or our dad or our brother or sister. I mean, it is all of us that are affected. Now, obviously, those that get cancer themselves, they're affected in a different way. But this is a concern for all of us.
This is true, absolutely. You know, the children, partners, parents, sisters, brothers, they're all affected by it. And it's sometimes even, what do I say, you know, harder for them, because there's nothing they can do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? All they can do is be there if they're needed, be there to support. But, you know, obviously when someone you love gets cancer, you want to do everything you can. You want to take it away from them. Yeah. But you just can't do that. All you have to do is be there to support them. So it is a difficult journey for them too, I have to say. And
that's why very often the person with the diagnosis ends up being the counsellor for everybody else, Majella, in saying, I'll be okay, it's not that bad, we'll get through this. You know what I mean? It's just the nature of us as humans. Okay, listen, it's going to be a wonderful night of celebration, of remembrance for 50, and they've actually moved the date so it didn't clash with the toy show, which I thought was really quite nice. But it's just €50 per ticket. You get that beautiful 4-course meal. You get to dress up as well as you like, or whatever, in whichever way you feel comfortable as well.
We don't care.
Exactly.
Just come along.
Exactly. Band Red Alert playing.
You'll be all right.
Modesty has to be covered. That's the only. Okay. Listen, Majella, have a wonderful night. Of course, you mentioned the MC in Noel and the special guest as well in Ciara, which is fantastic. All right, Majella, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Greg.
Take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Lovely to talk to you. As always, that's Majella O'Donnell there. Just to remind you, some tickets still available for the Northwest Breast Cancer Charity Ball. It's an aid of breast cancer research, Letterkenny University Hospital, Friday the 1st of December in the beautiful Silver Tassie Hotel. And because of the date, it's going to have a sense of a Christmas party as well, because I'm sure the DJ and the band will have a few festive treats for people to enjoy. So get along to that if you can. Right, some more of your comments here. Hi, Greg, from a Letterkenny business owner. Could you please address the dog fouling along our Letterkenny footpaths and entrances to businesses? It's worsening and is absolutely appalling. Where are the regulations or enforcement regarding this issue? It seems to be very bad this week, Main Street and Port Road. Are you a fellow business owner in Letterkenny, or someone using the highways and byways of Letterkenny? Most notably, it seems the Main Street and Port Road. Are you seeing an increase in dog fouling? You would think we'd be getting better, wouldn't you? But of course, according to that testimony there, we're not. A caller says people talk about increases in costs. I bought a sandwich on Friday, €6.80. The same sandwich used to be €4. So what cost me €20 a week is now €34. Is it any wonder businesses are closing? Who can afford this size of an increase? Now, you can shop around. €6.80 is a lot, but there are, I mean, you can get a lot for in some places for €5. In regards to the HSC and hospital appointments, they need to set up a website. All appointments, records and videos need to be accessible in the one place, even in years to come, so that people can access these things. The hospital campaign meeting in the Mount Errigal on the 30th is a great idea and a great opportunity for everyone in Donegal to row in and support the doctors, staff and patients to save our services and improve conditions for all. I'd not be able to speak publicly, but the opportunity to write down your story and experiences allows all voices to be listened to. There's nothing like working together for the common cause. Just a question here about prescription tablets with our local chemist. When I go back to get monthly supplies, I can have different brands of tablets, so I have to go back to change them for the right ones. Wondering, does anyone else find this is happening to them at their local pharmacy? I take a tablet and sometimes I get one brand and sometimes I get the other. It's all the same that's in them. You're getting probably a mixture of generic brands there. Some people worry about it. I don't, to be honest with you. I've absolute trust in the chemist. If they're replacing it with one tablet with another, I'm pretty confident it's the same product. But obviously, not everyone is the same. It does happen, I know, because I experience it myself. But any other listeners have an insight or a view on that, let us know on 086 60 25 000. Just wondering if you could look into something. Just wanted to know if there's any truth to Ireland's debt. We owe about 250 billion, give or take, but Ireland have donated or loaned money to America over the years to about the same. I haven't heard of us loaning money to America, to be honest. We are writing down that debt to some extent. That was formed part of the budget. Maybe, are you confusing our contribution to... I'll look into it for sure. Maybe you're confusing our contribution into the EU. We did well out of the EU for many years, but now we are net contributors, and that amount that we contribute to the EU is increasing. Disappointed that the second consultant had to be removed and causing anxiety to patients at the hospital, waiting and cancellations. I don't know what's happening there. It's hard to get information, I understand. Greg, it's shocking that a video is doing the rounds of people walking with children with suitcases in the early hours of this morning. Inishowen is one of the most dangerous areas in Donegal for road fatalities. Who thought it was okay to drop these people off like that? Now, as I say, there is a video doing the rounds. I'll see, for those of you who are watching here, if I can show you this video. I'll keep the volume down, but it does seem really quite dangerous. Now, I'm not sure who these people are or what they might be doing, but they are walking on both sides, as it turns out, of what appears to be a very narrow and dark road. It's not safe at all. I don't know what they're doing there, but they are carrying bags. And as I say, it is no lights, no high vis, and it does seem particularly dangerous. So I don't know precisely what's going on there, but there's children there as well, which is particularly worrying for me. The Business Post reported that under new Migration and Asylum Pact, Ireland will be responsible for the largest portion of asylum seekers based on our GDP. We need a referendum now to get some leverage on negotiations. Well, we are opting into a lot of that stuff, by the way. We choose to in certain cases. Good morning, Greg. Why don't we ever hear you or other media talking about the far left when we talk about people pushing the trans movement and immigration, for examples? The people of Ireland are finally waking up and are now being labelled far right. This is pushed by our lefties government. Shows the contempt they have for normal citizens. Well, I find left and right is a little bit like a horseshoe. In that they end up meeting in the end in the middle. I don't really subscribe to the left and right stuff. I don't talk about far right stuff particularly, or far left stuff either. So, I mean, there's liberal, conservative. I don't know how you might describe it. I think when people talk about far left and far right, there's many people just tune out and go, well, what's that? I don't subscribe to an ideology. I just have my views. But as I say, and particularly you can see with people's stance on what's happening in the Middle East and Russia, that horseshoe tends to meet in the middle. Sounds like the employer wants people to work for nothing so we can make a profit. Is he aware of how much the cost of living has increased? Could he live on a minimum wage? That's in response to that article in the paper today from a business owner that cites difficult to get staff, but also the pressures of wage increases on employers. 4 a.m. this morning, 2 miles outside of Clonmany, men, women and children walking in the dark on unsafe roads. A few of you messaging in on that. It's clear the bus drivers are no longer going to enter towns because of demonstrations. Okay, they seem to be implying that these might be immigrants. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I just look at it from a road safety perspective, and it doesn't look safe at all. Okay, we'll be back with more on the 9 till noon show shortly.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com.
Christmas party nights at the Silver Tassie. Drinks reception, 4-course festive meal, live music by the Logues, Jim Devine and more power to your elbow. For dates and bookings, call the Silver Tassie Hotel. Proud sponsors of today's show.
It's beginning to look a lot like a National Trust Christmas. See the augury sparkle on the new Winter Illuminations Trail. Wrap up for the return of Roallan's beautiful Yuletide market. Hop aboard the road train and visit Santa at Castle Cool with Cancer Connect NI. Follow the festive trail and settle in for story time in the bookshop at Mount Stewart. Come and enjoy the cosy Christmas village at Castle Ward, and you'll find gigantic Christmas spirit at the Giant's Causeway. For an unforgettable Christmas, search National Trust NI.
Work was a nightmare. How about you, love?
I dropped my phone in the loo.
Disaster.
Life's discomforts are no match for the advanced comforts of the Citroën C4 and the new C4X. Hydraulic cushion suspension filters out road imperfections, But our advanced comfort seats create an experience that isn't just comfort, it's advanced comfort. The Citroën C4 and new C4X. Book a test drive today.
The Black Tag event is now on at Curry's. Treat them or treat yourself with the Dyson V15 Detect Absolute cordless vacuum cleaner, now only $599. Save €150. Or save €80 on the 15-inch HP laptop with Intel Core i5 processor, now $419. Get in store or online at currys.ie.
The massive Black Friday sale is now on at Patterson's The Hall Lifford. Massive discounts on kitchens, beds, sofas, dining sets and giftware. There's up to 50% off selected mattresses in our sleep centre. Hundreds of products in stock and ready for delivery or collection. Open Monday to Saturday 9 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. with hot lunches served daily in our coffee shop. Get yourself down to Patterson's massive Black Friday sale today.
Do you need a UK address? Save hundreds of euros on custom charges shopping online with Space Hub Dairy. We provide a full virtual office address mailbox service for all your business and personal use. Save your business hundreds, possibly thousands on custom charges with Space Hub Dairy. Call 048 7187 8077 for more details.
Around the Northwest will be live this Monday from the Mount Errigal Hotel, Letterkenny, to mark the official start of the Buy Donegal campaign, which runs from November 20th until December 22nd. Tune in to find out about the Buy Donegal campaign, which showcases the best of Donegal business to a global audience. That's this Monday on Around the Northwest from 12 midday.
You're very welcome back to the programme. We're in studio now with our head of sales, Sean Quinn. Sean, good to have you back in.
Good morning, Greg. How are you?
I'm good. Before we talk about what we're launching, just quick update, if you don't mind, on the Home for Christmas initiative. The lines are still open for nominations for that. What's the response been like so far?
Incredible.
Really? Okay, good.
Incredible. I think there's nearly most of the countries in the world with I hadn't realised there's so many people from Donegal living in different parts of the world.
We're everywhere.
We are everywhere, and we've had some brilliant entries. I don't know how we're going to pick it, but we're going to have to do it. So there's another. The 1st of December is the closing date for that. If you're thinking about it, I would say act on it now. Do it as quick as you can.
So just to recap, because it is a great initiative in that it's bigger than better than ever this year. We're inviting people from wherever they are in the world who can't get home to get in touch with us and tell us, their story, why they want to come home, where they are, and that type of stuff. And we're also looking for people who are living here and who have loved ones away who can't get home. They can also, so you can nominate yourself to return home, or you can nominate other people to come home. And how do you do that? The easiest way is fill the form out on the website.
Yeah.
Is that in the outlet or separate?
It's actually on the front page of the website.
Okay,
So if you go to highlandradio.com, you'll see it there. Home for Christmas. Very simple form to fill out. Give us as much details as you can, though, because obviously we want to, if there's a story, we want to hear about the story as well. Okay. So the more information you give, the better. We've had a few written.
So in other words,
letters.
that means why they can't come home, perhaps, or how important it would be, or maybe it's how long since you've seen them, or all of that kind of as much information as you
Absolutely.
You can.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
Right, and it's not complicated, but it's much simpler if you just go to the website and you'll see exactly who applies, how you apply, and all that type of stuff, because you can nominate yourself or someone can nominate you, and we need the contact details for both parties. But anyway, I just wanted to give that a mention in case you just happen to be maybe watching the live stream from somewhere, or listening online as well, or listening on the radio across the Northwest. Right. Now, separately, Highland Radio's Hospitality Awards 2024 take place in February. It's in association with MCM Brands, and this is a brand new initiative, Sean.
It is, and it's kind of off the back of our customer service awards. They were so successful that we looked and said, where else could we go and reward what people do on a daily basis? So the obvious one was the hospitality, because I think we're very good at that in this county. So what we've done is today we're launching an opportunity for let's say our listeners to vote for their favourite, whether it be a hotel, whether it be restaurants, or it be tourism attractions. I mean, go through in more detail into exactly what we're doing with them. But if you go somewhere and you enjoy it, and you think it's the best that you get from a service point of view, or it could be food, then here's a great opportunity now to vote for them.
And an opportunity for you to say thank you as well. And hospitality is so big in this country because it's in this county particularly. It's a huge employer. It's a huge driver of our domestic and also our tourism economy. And sometimes I don't think it gets the support and credit it deserves. So this is a great opportunity to nominate your favourite hotel, your favourite restaurant, tourism and entertainment, bar and pub. And I can think in my head, a short list in my own mind of in each of these categories, and it's a really simple way to say, well, thank you, or well done, or you've a great member of bar staff, or you've a particularly nice overnight stay experience.
Yeah, and it's everybody strives to deliver the best service that they can and the best produce that they can, and I think that we do this well. But with something, you're 100% right, Greg. We don't always recognise, and I think we all use these little takeaways or restaurants, or we go into bars and we go in and we go again without saying, that was lovely, thank you very much. And so, I think that it's good for business. It's good for the people to give an opportunity to actually reward the businesses, not just in monetary terms, but in recognition terms.
Yeah, okay, so let's run through the categories. And there are 4 categories, so it's really quite simple. Hotel.
Yeah, so what we have is we've got the Hotel of the Year. We have the Best Hotel Spa, Best Hotel Breakfast. I could name quite a few of those ones.
The subcategories, of course.
They are, yeah. So you've got the Best Family Hotel Wedding Coordinator of the Year, so it's individuals as well. And the Best Hotel Manager, Receptionist of the Year, and the Best Hotel Bar, and Best Corporate Facilities within a hotel, and also your Best Guest House, B&B stroke Airbnb, and then your Leisure Centre, because a lot of hotels have leisure centres. So
what that gives an opportunity to, obviously, people will stay within the county, but often you use services within a hotel. So it could be the leisure centre. It could be that engagement with the bar manager, because a lot of hotel bars are public bars as well. So in other words, you don't have to necessarily stay in a hotel. It can be your local hotel, but you just use it as your local entertainment venue, exercise venue, or spa venue, whatever it might be.
Absolutely. And it's there's so much choice there that it'd be great to, if there's one that you really enjoy and you go back and use on a regular basis, give them a vote today.
All right, now your Best Eatery now is the next one. You're calling it restaurant.
Well, there's a mix of actually both here, because the one that I'm looking forward to
eatery covers it all.
Eatery, okay, we'll call it eatery for you, Greg.
I should be in these meetings.
The Restaurant of the Year, we've got the Best Dining. I'm just ignoring you.
Most do.
Best Cafe. One that's going to be interesting is the Best Fish and Chips.
Yeah, Best Takeaway.
Best Takeaway. You've got the Best Burger, Casual Dining and Family Dining. So there's everything there encompassed into that.
It's all inclusive, and I'm not just saying this because I work here, but it is all inclusive because, we don't often recognise what is the best takeaway or what is the best fish and chips. We often talk about, in inverted commas, fine dining. But the majority of us probably eat takeaways as well. So it's good that the restaurant category includes all, as always. Best casual dining, best hotel restaurant, and on it goes. Tourism entertainment sector too. Again, this is a broad-ranging, all-encompassing category as well. Again, you do really well on this, Sean, I must say, because it goes from best St. Patrick's Day parade, best caravan camping glamping experience, best coffee shops, the best Santa experience as well, which is really quite timely at the moment, best family venue, tourism attraction of the year. In other words, if you want to recognise someone in tourism and entertainment, there's going to be a slot there for you to insert.
Absolutely. And there's the little tweaky ones as well. We've even put a golf club in there as well, because I think they provide a very good service, and we've got top class courses across the country, and it's not just about the course, it's about the experience afterwards when you go into the clubhouse, and they should be recognised for the service that they provide for us. So I don't think we've left anything out there. I think there's great opportunity for a mix of businesses across our entertainments and our tourism.
And then finally the bar and pub sector.
This is the one that this will go for all age groups. So you've got your Best Pub of the Year, so it might be your local pub, but it could be a country pub. Who provides the best food? Who's got the best music venue? Bar Person of the Year, Best Sports Bar. They're very popular nowadays. And a traditional bar. And I can, with top of my head, I can count to 3 or 4 that I know of lovely traditional bars. And then your Off License of the Year, Best Pint of Guinness. Now, I couldn't judge that one because I don't drink Guinness. But I know of friends of mine that always say, That's as good a pint of Guinness as I ever tasted.
Is there a section for best bar with 18 screens showing a game of darts from 18 years ago? Why don't you switch the bloody tellies off?
We'll put that in the sports department.
Right, no, okay, I'm only messing. Right, okay, so it's right across the board. So we're inviting the public to say, you know what, spread a bit of love, thank one of your hotel, restaurant, tourism and entertainment, bar and pub, but also it's a good opportunity maybe for some of these venues to say, hey, over here, you know, give us a bit of love. You know, there's no shame in that game. We talked about this with the last awards. You know, say, listen, you know, we're doing a job here. It'd be lovely to get a little bit of recognition.
And I do encourage it. And if you're working there and you're proud to work there, give your business a vote, because what will happen is those that are shortlisted will be in for an amazing night on the 4th of February. I guarantee it. If it's half as good as what we had for our customer service awards, this will be a night to remember in Jackson's Hotel.
Yeah, brilliant venue as well, Jackson's Hotel Bella Buffet, and great to see it being hosted around the county as well. All right, so there's plenty of time, but also there's not plenty of time because it's a busy time of year for everyone as well. Nominations close on Monday, the 13th of December, and the event itself takes place in February. So really, get your nominations in. Put out your calls for nominations. Get on it now in the run-up to Monday, the 13th of December, because there's a lot of work goes into picking the winners here, and we do it in a very transparent and thorough way, Sean, as was shown with the last set of awards.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have independent judges who, again, will do each section, and they will measure it based on the comments that come in from the people, from the customers. But they'll also look and search the actual business as well and do some research on it, and they'll make their independent decision based on those. And as I said, those who are shortlisted will all be hopefully in the room on the 4th. I would also like to thank, with 4 sponsors. We have a main sponsor, which is MCM Brands. You mentioned at the start there, Greg. Our categories, the whole hotel section is sponsored by SafeTech. The restaurants is by Northwest Gas. Tourism and entertainment is sponsored by iHeating and Cooling. And the bar and pub section is sponsored by Camille Thai. So to them, thank you. We couldn't do it without sponsorship. It's great to have that. And do you know what, Greg? In fairness, it wasn't a hard sell for us. I think on the back of what we've done before, people wanted to be involved with us.
Okay, so when can people, or how do people apply?
So they can apply from today. So after 12 o'clock today, everything will be up live on our website. The nomination forms will be there to fill out. They're very simple to do. You'll see it on our website in the front page.
Not yet, though. It's going to be after 12.
12 o'clock. 12 o'clock will be live from today. And they can download and they send it. It's just an entry. There's no printing out. You can fill it out online. It'll come straight into our system there. But you've only got until the 13th. It's quite a small window. So if it's in your head, do it today if you can, or do it over the next week. Because the last time, I think with over 17,000 nominations.
And will we have anything downloadable for businesses? Any templates that they can put on?
You read my mind, because one thing that happened the last time is social media went mad. And I would encourage people to download. We have a Vote For Me poster that they can download. They can share onto their Facebook pages as well. Those that did that the last time did very, very well, because people reacted to it straight away and we could see it.
Yeah, exactly. But also... and this is not to contradict you, but if you look through the list of winners in our last set of awards, don't be discouraged if you don't have a huge social media following either, because the system is designed in such a way as well that it accounts for all of that. In other words, it's not necessarily a popularity contest. There's judges that will consider everything as well, because we saw businesses with huge social media followings and others that perhaps didn't have the same footprint, but they were all treated equally as well. So don't be discouraged if you just don't have the same level of traction maybe as a competing business or what have you. That's okay. The judging system is such that it accounts for all businesses of all backgrounds and sizes.
And the simple thing is, if your customer's happy with the service and the food or the experience that they've had, ask them to vote for you.
Exactly. Say it with your face.
Don't be shy.
All right, then. Listen, Sean, thanks for that. You've got until the 13th of December. The web page portal goes live from 12.
Christmas party nights at the Silver Tassie. Drinks reception, 4-course festive meal, live music by the Logues, Jim Devine, and more power to your elbow. For dates and bookings, call the Silver Tassie Hotel. Proud sponsors of today's show.
Uno, dos, tres. Ahena doa 3. 1, 2, 3. The Arona, the Ateca and the Tarraco. 3 great SUVs from SEAT. And when you order during the SEAT 241 open event, each one of those is available with a free 3-year service plan, 3 years tyre insurance and 3 years roadside assistance. Visit seat.ie to find out more about our 241 open event from October 23rd to November 5th. Great things come in threes at DMG Motors, Donegal Town. Terms and conditions apply.
Give joy at Boots with hundreds of amazing gifts available on 3 for 2. We've a huge range of brands like No. 7 Ted Baker and Soap and Glory. And with home delivery and click and collect, it's never been easier to tick everyone off your Christmas list. Boots, give joy. Selected stores and boots.ie, subject to availability. Cheapest free offer ends 24th December. Delivery charges may apply.
Black Friday deals at Brian McCormick Sports and Leisure. 20% discount on Hoka, Brooks, New Balance and On footwear. Check in store and online for details. 20% off Adidas running spikes and 20% off Under Armour and Adidas clothing. 30% off Donegal GEA Dolman range. Black Friday discounts at Brian McCormick Sports and Leisure and on bmcsports.ie.
At iMotors, we're kicking off Black Friday week with over €100,000 in reductions and thousands off selected stock. Call into our showroom this week to get the best deals in town. Buy any used car Black Friday week and receive a 43-inch TV. Visit our showroom today in Drumkeen or Malin for this unbeatable offer. iMotors, we have your next car. Visit imotors.ie to see all our stock.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by Grant. From condensing oil and HVO biofuel boilers to heat pumps and underfloor heating, you can trust Grant to heat your home. Visit grant.ie.
Fresh and breezy today with a mix of sunny spells and showers. Showers will be widespread this morning but will become more isolated during the afternoon with long dry spells developing. Maximum temperatures of 10 to 12 degrees in fresh and gusty northwest winds. Now, a number of Donegal motorists were put off the road after they failed to turn up in court to pay fines for parking in disabled parking bays. The drivers had received fixed penalty notices but failed to pay them. These cases come up at a special sitting of Letterkenny District Court this week. The drivers failed to show and the judge in question, Kieran Liddy, hit the drivers with fines, costs and also issued them with driving bans. Mary McGrenra is Service Coordinator at the Irish Wheelchair Association in Letterkenny. Thank you very much for joining us, Mary. You can't hear me, Mary, can you? Right, okay, I'll come back to Mary in a moment. I think that might be an issue on my end, so I'll resolve that in a second. 086 60 25,000, by the way, if you wish to have your say on what we're about to talk to, I'll bring Mary back in a second. Just a couple of... we were in contact with the Gardaí, by the way, as it relates to the... delays in Letterkenny this morning. There was a traffic collision on the Polestar roundabout and it was cleared as best as possible. But what Gardaí had to do was wait until such time as trucks came to remove those vehicles. So I'm not saying it was responsible for all of the issues, but it certainly was responsible for some of them. Mary, I presume you can't hear me, can you? No, you can't. Okay. We'll get back to Mary again, as I say, when we can. Greg, in regards to... We might get Mary on the phone, if that's okay. Greg, in regards to the Polestar roundabout, bravo to the Donegal County Council. They made a mess of everything for a start off. The roundabout's far too small for the amount of lights on it. There's not enough distance between each set of lights. You would think somebody would have had the brains to realise that. I don't think it's the council's fault per se, is it not? Is it? Is it not TII responsible for that? I had an experience with the card at a petrol station. I used the Revolut card, and if you only put 50 of petrol in, then it only takes the €50 as opposed to your debit card. That new bridge needs to be built ASAP in Letterkenny. It's not good enough for Councillor Kavanagh to come on and say people will have to wait until 2030 for a bridge to be built. He lives in the town and doesn't drive. I was told if I had a job elsewhere, I'd be avoiding LK. What's the Chamber? Why is the Chamber not speaking up on behalf of businesses? Christmas will be lost, says a listener. Well, local councillors can't say when They can sort of say when they're told that bridge will be built, but they have no power over expediting it or speeding it up. Okay, sorry, Mary. It's good to have you on the programme. Service Coordinator at Irish Wheelchair Association. Look, I don't think any of us want to see people fined or put off the road, but if you insist on parking in these spaces and then don't take responsibility for your actions, well, then you can expect the full weight of the law. What do you think about this judge's actions?
Yeah, I actually seen it yesterday, and, you know, like you, I don't want to see anyone put off the road. However, this is something, you know, that is highlighted on a regular basis. We all know that we shouldn't park in an accessible parking bay unless we have a valid parking disc, and therefore, you know, we should expect, as they say, the full wrath of the law. You know, sometimes I think is a lack of education, as in the people who seem to know about it are those of us who are in the sector. And, you know, you think if we did more on the education side, highlighted more, maybe more TV ads. And funny, I often think that's where we're missing. The visual has a great impact. You know, if you had a short ad on TV and see the visual impact of someone with a disability not being able to get into a parking bay because you or I are using it, and the ramifications of it, it's not just getting into the parking bay. It could make the difference between, you know, getting your shopping done, getting a bill paid, getting to an important appointment. And accessible parking bays are not plentiful anyway. You know, it's not as if they're all over the place. So even for people, you know, we'd often say to people, okay, if somebody can leave you off, you know, let them leave you off in the bay and park somewhere else and leave the bay free for somebody who may need it even more than you. We do have a campaign every year locally called Back in 5, because one of the things that people will say, and, you know, maybe if we all looked very deep into ourselves, we may or may not have been guilty of it at some point, you know, oh, I was only there for a couple of minutes, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. But that's a couple of minutes that somebody else who needs that bay may come along and they don't get parked. And very often what you find is then these people get frustrated and they end up parking somewhere they shouldn't, you know, like a double yellow line, and that causes another problem.
Yeah, but Mary, is it possible? Listen, sometimes people will make a mistake, okay, and not realise, but I don't think that happens too often. Is it not the case that someone who is going to park in one of these spaces may also be inclined to throw a takeaway bag out the window of a car or to allow their dog to poo on a footpath? And the only way to get through to them, and I support you in getting as much information out there as possible, but sometimes the only way is to show that there is enforcement, to hit them in the pocket, to put them off the road, you know, because we do try a lot of everything else. And as I say, it's a tiny minority, I think, of the population, but maybe this is the only way to get through to them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It may well be the only way. And it's an interesting one now to look at and see will it be replicated around the country. You know, other judges may take a lead from this. But, you know, it's frustrating that it has to come to this. And it's interesting, you know, that there were two at the one, you know, in the 1 week. And you think, right, okay, so how many more are at it, you know, that are not being got? It really is frustrating. And again, that's Letterkenny Town. You know, what about Buncrana, Donegal Town, all the other towns? That's just a small snapshot in time. And we certainly don't have any statistics, you know, for how big an issue it is. But we do know anecdotally, speaking to service users and other people we come into contact, it is a big issue.
I've spoke to people that simply have stopped going places because they do 3 or 4 laps, they can't get parked, they get frustrated to go home, and then they end up being isolated in their home because it's just not worth. And people parking,
exactly it.
People parking too close so that people can't maybe unload a wheelchair. You know, there's lots of examples, and I think you hear from them, but you don't see them because they just simply, a lot of people go, I'm not taking that on today. And as you say, this is not an anti-Letterkenny thing. It's right across the region.
Oh, yeah. And it's people, they just, you know, as you rightly say, is it the same person that throws a chip bag out of the window or whatever? Quite possibly it is. You know, quite possibly some people just don't care. You know, always I try to believe that somewhere everybody cares, but yeah. Possibly they just don't care. You know, it's not affecting them. Their business is most important. You know, I need to get into the space. I need to do whatever A, B, or C. and no thought for the person who really needs to get into the space. And on the subject that you just raised there about people parking too close, where somebody has to unload a wheelchair, whether it's out of the back of a vehicle, or some vehicles actually unload to the side, but more often than not out of the back. That's a real issue. And, again, it's one that I often think if parking bays were a bit bigger, it might actually help that, because unfortunately we don't seem to be able to rely on the public to keep their distance.
Yeah, and like
they'll
just
squeeze into the tightest space available.
But we as a public also, firstly, it could be us at any stage, but also have to think of the challenge that people may already be facing, and then to be doing this. But anyway, look, these people have been hit heavy in the pocket and off the road for up to 6 months, so they won't do it again, I'd imagine. Mary, listen, thanks for helping us highlight it. You would hope to think so, exactly, and like to think so. All right, Mary, thank you. Mary McGraner, a service coordinator at the Irish Wheelchair Association. What do you think? Do you think maybe it was too stern a punishment, or do you welcome it? Two people failed to appear in court, and they were charged hundreds of euro, banned from 3 months to 6 months for parking in a disabled bay.
The 9 till noon show with the Silver Tassie Hotel, the perfect venue for a Christmas get-together, serving festive lunch, afternoon tea, dinner and drinks throughout December. Follow Silver Tassie Hotel on Facebook and Instagram.
Inishowen Development Partnership in collaboration with the HSE are holding a health and social care recruitment and education fair on Tuesday the 21st of November in the Inishowen Gateway Hotel, Buncrana. Discover exciting career opportunities in the healthcare sector. Connect with industry professionals and explore educational pathways. Don't miss this chance to shape your future in health and social care. That's Tuesday the 21st of November in the Inishowen Gateway Hotel, Buncrana from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m.
What if you could send a free chocolate bar in secret to someone special? Just to, give them a little lift. With the Cadbury Secret Santa Postal Service, you can send free chocolate secretly from a poster. They're popping up all over the country, from great big cities to quaint little towns. Look out for a poster near you, or search Cadbury Secret Santa to find out more. 18 plus, free service on selected products while stocks last until December the 24th. For full terms and conditions, visit cadbury.ie.
Screwfix Black Friday deals are here. Save €100 on the Bosch 18-volt impact driver bare unit. Now only €64.95. And get the Titan 20-litre wet and dry vacuum for under €60. For more Black Friday deals, shop now. Must end 27th November. Delivery charges apply.
Join us in Donegal Town this Christmas for a special shopping extravaganza. 100 plus boutique shops, discounts galore and late shopping. Capture the festive atmosphere at the Donegal Town Shopping Spree. Friday 1st and Saturday 2nd of December.
Hi, Tommy Bow here. Get in store to check out my new 15 Kings clothing collection, available in premium gents outfitters nationwide and at 15kings.com.
Ryan Adams is back on tour in 2024. Join Highland Radio on our trip to Dublin to see the man himself at the 3 Arena on Tuesday the 21st of May 2024. Your trip includes luxury transfers, bed and breakfast at the 4-star Carlton Hotel Blanchardstown, your standing ticket to the show, and a shopping trip to Dublin City Centre the following day. This is an ideal Christmas gift. Find out more on the outlet at highlandradio.com or call us on 074 91 25,000.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to Noon Show on Highland Radio.
All right, still another hour to come this Monday morning on this programme. But first, let's get a news update at 11 o'clock, and it's over to Michaela Clark.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. People who have attended Letterkenny University Hospital are being asked to outline their experiences as concerns over the hospital continue. Health Minister Stephen Donnelly is to visit the hospital this week in response to serious issues raised by GPs and consultants over patient safety in the hospital's emergency department. A public meeting, meanwhile, organised by the Letterkenny Hospital Campaign Group, will take place at 8 p.m. on Thursday, November the 30th at the Mount Errigal Hotel in Letterkenny. It's been recommended an extra seat be allocated to the Midlands North West constituency ahead of next year's European Parliament elections. The Midlands North West constituency will also be expanded to include the counties of Laois and Offaly. Following a month-long public consultation, the Electoral Commission concluded that an additional 14th MEP be allocated for the upcoming elections, stemming from Ireland's growing population and EU rules on the European Parliament's composition. A former drugs minister claims Irish society shows more concern for cattle than heroin users. An injection centre planned for Dublin is due to open in September next year. The issue is in the spotlight after a number of overdoses last week. Elderly people in one estate in Letterkenny are effectively trapped in their homes during the winter months as they are afraid to leave their properties due to the absence of lighting. Residents in Muckish Avenue are said to feel unsafe within their homes as there are no external lights in the area. Letterkenny native Troy Gallagher says he's honoured and humbled after being awarded the Freedom of the City of London. Councillor Gallagher was bestowed the freedom at a ceremony on Saturday for outstanding service to public life and community. He told the 9 till Noon show earlier that he accepted the Freedom of the City of London on behalf of all the diaspora who contributed to Britain's society. And over 14% of the misinformation shared online is in relation to health. A recent study by the Institute for Strategic Dialogue found false dialogue about COVID-19 and vaccines was the most common within the category. The largest spike in online health misinformation was seen at the beginning of December 2021 when several protests over vaccine mandates and masks were taking place. Those are the latest headlines. We'll be back with an update again at 12 noon.
Michaela, thank you very much indeed. We'll be back with more after a short break.
The Department of Social Protection is working to improve disability payments in Ireland. There is currently a consultation on how these payments might work better in the future. We want to hear your views on how the system might be improved. To find out more, please visit gov.ie/disability payments reform. A Government of Ireland initiative brought to you by the Department of Social Protection.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio.
Traffic dominating an awful lot of your views out there this morning. A caller says, I've been driving for 40 years, many of them as a HGV driver. I've never driven in a worse town than Letterkenny. Terrible traffic management and planning for years. Only answer is the bridge over the Swilly and bypass the town. Everything going north, Donegal in the west, could be catered for. They've been talking for 30 years about this. Promises will be flying now with the election coming up and more BS. Is this another issue? Maybe the public has a role to play in this. Do we? I know there are campaigns and fair play to them, and that's what's needed if that's what people feel is needed. But do we? I mean, could people be doing more? I wonder. What's wrong with putting a guard down there with a white glove directing traffic? Surely that would be an answer to the backlog of traffic. They had a guard direct traffic years ago. Same thing should be done now. I'm not really quite sure how that might work with so many entries and exits. I think you would need a number of guards, but the Gardaí aren't responsible for traffic management. They're pretty busy doing everything else. And there is the TII, there's roads authorities, there's all different manner of organisations that have a responsibility, while the guards have other things to be at as well. I left Lurgy Brack at 10 to 10. I'm still not even at the Toyota garage. There's a backlog right up to the top of Lurgy Brack. And at the very least, what today's incidents exposes, if in fact there was some sort of a collision, that Letterkenny, you can drive it to grind it to a halt with one little instant. It's crazy. We've seen that in the past with collisions on the old 4 lanes, but things haven't improved. You see one small bumper to bumper on the Polestar roundabout at 9:15, and people are still queued up Lurgy Brack 2.5 hours later. All right, Mary's with us now. Hi, Mary. We were talking before 11 there just about a judge seemingly getting tough on people who don't turn up to court to answer charges of parking in disabled bays or accessible bays, or however they might like to be described. But it's not just those bays, is it? The parents' bays are also often taken up.
Yeah. Hi, good morning, Greg. The last, I've seen it before, but maybe more so in the last number of weeks, because it's just, I would go to the shop there, I would have one of my grandchildren on while going to pick the other one up, and you just can't get in to one of the spaces. there was a gentleman sitting in a car one day, and I said to him, I says, are you, he says, I don't see you with a child on, and he just looked at me. Another lady was parked one other day, and I when I went into the shop and come back out again, she came out and her car was just full of stuff. And I said to her, I went down and I actually said to her, I said, you don't look as if you have a child on there. She just looked at me and reversed out and drove off. I mean, there is only a few of them at the supermarkets down here in any showing anyway. So I mean, it's not. And then I just don't get it. That they can't walk a few feet, to the shop, because I have my sister now at the minute on crutches, and I do pull into them to let her out to go to do her shopping or to the post office, but I hate pulling into them to start off with, because I think, well, I'm okay. But it's just a young fella too. One other day he popped in, and I said to him, I said, you don't look as if there's anything wrong with you. Oh, I'm just going in for something to eat. I'm going, well, why are you parked there? You're well able to walk. But
I'll take it there were other parking. There were other parking spaces further from the door, Mary. Not that that's any excuse.
Yeah.
But it was just
there was, yeah.
Yeah. In other words, they just parked there for handiness.
Yeah, it's just a matter of, well, to me, I think it's a bit of laziness,
Well,
because
there's no other excuse. If you're able-bodied, you don't have a child with you, and you use them, it's only laziness. There's no other motivation, is it?
It's even when I go to do my own shopping, it's very seldom I would park close to the door anyway, because I think, well, maybe somebody else is not so able-bodied as me, so I'll park farther away and let them spaces closer to the door for somebody else. So. But,
and the reason it's no coincidence they're closer to the door, because it's awkward. We have to nowadays. Someone might not be able to get a childminder. There could be a single parent or whatever it might be, or there could be a couple. It doesn't matter. But the reason they're there is because it's tough to go shopping with a child, and sometimes you don't have a choice. And they're there for that reason. Do you know what I mean? To get better access, safer access, and what have you. You know what I mean? They're not there for the good of the health. I don't know. I wouldn't have the guts to park in one. And it's not necessarily because I'm an angel or a saint, don't get me wrong, Mary, but I wouldn't have the neck to pull into one of those spaces and walk off. I'd be too afraid of someone like you coming up to me, if you know what I mean. I don't understand how people have the neck to do it right. Know.
Exactly. I just don't get it. I'm thinking, if you just take a look around, there is only a few at each of these places. I think there's only two child ones at one of the supermarkets, and I think there's either 2 or 4 at the other one. But you just see them coming and pulling in, and I just think, why could you not leave that for a family, or somebody that's coming? Because I know for me, I think a lot of my car, as some of the rest of my family do, and I mean, you're in a tight spot and you're trying to get a door open, you don't want to hit the other person's car, and you're trying to get a child out, you're trying to get a disabled person out. Just doesn't make sense. But as I say, some people just don't think, they don't want to know either or, so...
It's frustrating though, but fair play. We need to get you a cap or something, Mary. You're going around in the show and walking up to people. But listen, you have to. Yeah, sometimes you have to call it, and no one's gone. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. They've always got an excuse or a look.
No, because there was a couple of people coming out of this. There was a person sitting in the car, one of the cars farther over, and there was another person coming out, and they were going, "Oh, fair play to you, fair play to you." And I go, "Well, there's absolutely nothing wrong with him to get up and walk, to park up there and walk into the shop, because there is a few people that I do know, comes in and does need the spaces,
Yeah.
But as I say, I just hate pulling into them now myself, because my sister's on crutches at the minute, but. Most times I will I've only parked in them a couple of times because she's just gone into the post office, but she is on the crutches, and I do need the space for her to get out.
But it's not for you, though, Mary. Some would say, though, Mary, I'm going to have to say, because others are going to text in, that if you don't have a badge or you don't have a child with you, you shouldn't be parking in those spaces yourself.
Yeah, exactly, Greg. Exactly. But one day I did, because it was really heavy.
Can you hear this? Mary, listen this.
Yeah.
That's me knocking on the driver window saying, Mary, come on now.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, exactly, Greg. Exactly. And I totally agree 100%. Yes, I shouldn't have done, but because she was on the crutches, I took her out. But
well,
then
I wouldn't
the
have.
other days I just dropped her out.
I wouldn't have minded. All right, Mary, but I take your point. Listen, fair play to you. Thank you so much for joining us. And it's just a wee bit of consideration, Mary, we're asking for, isn't it? No one wants to see people put off the road, I don't think.
No, I don't. I wouldn't go that far now, but I would stick a fine on them. All right, like I think they should give a donation to charity or something. So,
or education courses. Someone else suggested.
Sorry?
Education courses. Maybe have a venue whereby a couple of people with a disability or that need those spaces could sit in front of drivers that have been found parked in them and just explain how it affects them in their lives or how it inconveniences them. Maybe we could educate people that way.
Do you know what, Greg? If people have to be educated for that's out driving on the road, there's something seriously wrong.
I hear you. Okay.
Because all they need is a brain to use. If you don't park there, you're well able to walk.
Okay, Mary. Listen, thanks for your time. Have a lovely day. Best wishes to you and all. I work in a shopping area and I use the mother and baby spaces because of the tightness of parking spaces, and I don't care who it annoys. My car's been damaged a number of times. That's someone, and fair play for texting in. They're saying, stuff it. I'm going to use them. Good to hear that judges are cracking down on these inconsiderate people and also showing no respect to the court. Also, those parking in mother and baby spaces and not a baby in sight. And the parents in spaces. Some of us dads do shopping as well. But listen, I take your point. Okay, we're going to be talking about some startling figures as it relates to contacts made to Men's Aid over the course of the last year. That's coming up after these.
Your one-stop shop this Christmas. Gift vouchers for the Silver Tassie Hotel and Seascape Spa are available online at silvertassiehotel.com or from hotel reception. The Silver Tassie, proud sponsors of today's show.
The government's Connecting Ireland Rural Mobility Plan is rolling out more public transport nationwide. This year, 36 new and enhanced TFI local link bus services and 4 new and enhanced bus Éireann routes have launched. With 22 more to come before the year ends, that's more than one a week. Rail services are also being upgraded with a greener, cleaner fleet. Each time you choose public transport, it helps reduce Ireland's transport emissions. Wherever you're going, your journey counts. Visit gov.ie/your journey counts. Brought to you by the Government of Ireland.
Make your Christmas parties magical this year with Lidl. Roll out the red carpet with our frozen party time range like vegetable spring rolls only $1.19. And pour pure indulgence with Lidl Plus Wine of the Week. 20% off Peony Merlot, now $9.49. Wishing you a magical Christmas with Lidl. Get the facts by Drinkaware. Visit drinkaware.ie.
Donegal Local Development Company is hosting a showcase event celebrating Donegal businesses in the Central Hotel, Donegal Town on Friday the 24th of November from 1 to 7 p.m. This event is free to attend and features the best local startup businesses. Find your perfect Christmas gift, perfect tradesman, beauty product or outdoor adventure and much, much more, all in one place. Come along and support your local businesses and find out what's newly available in your area on a day that's guaranteed to be fun for all. Make celebrating Donegal businesses your business on November 24th. For more, visit dldc.org.
This is Mark from Highland Motors in Letterkenny to let you know about the brand new Citroen C4X available from $29,900 on the road. I only have 30 seconds, so I better get a move on. This car comes with a 5-year warranty and a 3-year service plan with the petrol and diesel versions, and you get a free home charger with the electric version. It has 18-inch alloys, LED headlights, reversing camera, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto.
Hands up, Mark.
To have a look at the new Citroen C4X or to have a test drive, call in to us at Highland Motors in Letterkenny.
The Cope Dunlow's Black Friday sale is now on in-store and online. Massive savings across all departments. 40% of all ceiling lighting, 50% off dry robes, 20% of all Christmas stock and 50% off selected clothing in our ladies' and men's departments. See the Cope Dunlow on Facebook and Instagram for more.
Highland Radio time checks with Expressway. Travel Route 32 from Letterkenny to Dublin when you book online and travel for less. Expressway, bringing you the time at...
The time's 11:15. Now, Men's Aid is Ireland's only dedicated organisation supporting men and their families experiencing domestic violence. Minister for Justice Helen McEntee last week launched Men's Aid's 2022 annual report to mark International Men's Day. And I hope Katrina Bentley, CEO of Men's Aid Ireland, can hear me. You can't hear me. Okay, right. That is an issue we are having there. I might have to reboot or something. We'll figure out what's going on there. Right, so you'll have to stay tuned for that. I'll come back to it because it is an important issue. I don't know what's going on there with the sound on the Zoom at the moment. But anyway, I will have a look at that, and if not, we'll switch to the phone. A caller says, I was recently in hospital, and 3 of us in the same ward had private health insurance, and we were seen immediately and given all the required scans, yet a public patient was sitting in the same room for days waiting on the same scans. Yeah, indeed, it's not ideal, is it, to say the very least. St. Connell's is not the first time the hospital files have been found in the town. Does anyone remember when hospital files were found around Letterkenny? Indeed, we were talking about that as well. When were we talking about that? Last week, some of those queries came in. On to the next call. No mention of the refugees walking the roads at 4 a.m. being left to find the house they're being put into on their own. Well, we did actually already mention that so far this morning. So hopefully that is covered. If there's anything additional that we need to speak about, do let us know. And we will. There's nothing, we don't hide from anything here on this programme. My son was working as a waiter last night. Customers started shouting at him in aggressive and intimidating way. Could you highlight this, please? The importance of treating staff with respect. And of course, it is imperative because it could be your own children or whatever. You wouldn't want them treated with different. If you could get them to log back in there, Caroline, please. Greg, a few months ago, I wrote to you about the reluctance of bars to stock Guinness Zero. I want to state that nothing has changed. It's virtually impossible to get the non-alcoholic pint in most pubs. Guinness are spending a fortune promoting this drink, but for some reason, bar owners are not responding. The usual reason I get when I ask why is people don't come in here to drink non-alcohol, insert your own word here. I'd like to have a pint but can't because of silly notions that some people still hold. I'd love if a survey was done to ascertain the uptake. Maybe I'm drinking in the wrong bars. Well, I've seen it quite extensively around the place. And I saw one particular snazzy piece of equipment, which I would imagine is better for bars, in that it was a unit where cans were placed into some sort of a system, and that worked. Okay, I wonder, can we go to Katrina now? Katrina, can you hear me this time, I wonder? No, okay, we're still experiencing sound issues with that today. Don't know what the story is. Katrina, can you hear me now? No, you can't hear me? Don't know what's going on. Right, phone time, Caroline. We're due to go on the phone, but you can stay connected to Zoom there and we'll just take the audio from the telephone line. Just to remind you of how you get in touch with us, 086 60 25,000 is the WhatsApp and text line, 086 60 25,000, or give us a call on 07491 25,000. Now, Katrina Bentley, apologies, CEO of Men's Aid Ireland. It's good to have you on the programme.
Good morning. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Right, now, as I said in the preamble, and I've been waffling a little since just till we got the connection with you, almost 10,000 contacts made to the service in 2022. And I'm not going to lie to you, I wasn't really overly familiar with, or perhaps as familiar as I should be, with Men's Aid, Katrina. So I just wonder if that figure might be greater if there was even more awareness.
Absolutely. Well, our research shows 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men would experience some level of domestic violence or domestic abuse during their lifetime. So it is a national issue, and I suppose our report shows that the increase in the men coming forward is very welcomed because they're starting to talk.
And what are they coming forward and stating is the issues?
The 2 key areas was emotional abuse and psychological abuse, coercively controlling behaviours, then physical abuse, economic abuse and sexual abuse. So in particular, the emotional, psychological, and what I mean by that would be, walking on eggshells at home, living in a state of fear, intimidating behaviours, humiliation, issues around access with the kids, and disclosures of substance abuse, etc.
And is there any other trends that you can sort of pick out from these figures? In that, I presume that most of the issues they are saying are perpetrated by women?
91% of the callers, of the 9,500 callers, were disclosing a female abuser. After that, then would be same sex, so members of the LGBT communities, and then family violence. So that can be bidirectional, or it can be an adult child within the family unit.
And in terms of what support you can offer, obviously there's a listening ear, maybe some signposting, but beyond that?
Yeah, so the helpline is first and foremost, and for many men, it can take a couple of rings and attempts to ring. And we can see on the software that men ring and hang up, and then eventually they have the courage to come forward. Just to mention, the men are each in between 18 and early 90s. So it's the younger male adult, 18 to 23, maybe in college, university, first-time girlfriend, etc. The main cohort is between 40 and 55, married, kids, perhaps waiting till the kids go into college before they move out or move on, etc. And then the older cohort of the 65 plus, who has been living with domestic abuse for decades and decades. So first and foremost is the helpline and being validated, and for someone to listen and hear their story and what's happened to them, and then to empower them to make their own decisions as to what's the best next step for them. It mightn't necessarily be a family law route. It might actually be keeping them safe, safety plans. We have counselling and psychotherapy work and peer group and court support and outreach as well for appointments.
Yeah, I think there's something particularly heartbreaking about someone needing help getting as far as dialing the number, the couple of rings, and hanging up, because then there's so many others that actually don't even get that far.
Given the prevalence, we know the 9,500 is actually only the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. So I suppose this weekend, being International Men's Day yesterday, we're very much trying to highlight about having the confidence and feeling encouraged to pick up the phone, to talk to us, or to talk to a friend or a family member, to confide and trust somebody that you trust.
And I often, when we talk about domestic violence or whatever it might be towards women, people will often say, yeah, but what about men? And I don't see any great advantage in pitching one against the other. These are people out there that are enduring this. But is it the case, though, that we have made good progress in terms of, Garda training or whatever it might be, that women feel more comfortable, not all the way there, but more comfortable in coming forward? But there still is that stigma, maybe that sense that they won't be believed, or maybe that they won't be sided with, that might stop men coming forward.
Absolutely. The stigma, the shame, the silence, the stereotypes over the decades and decades. So I think what's important, and that we see on our helpline, are many mums and sisters who ring because they're worried about their son or their brother. So us as a female, us women have a role to play in that as well. Our service is victim centric, so we support women, men, any person who rings or is in need of an appointment. So we just really encourage anyone to come forward. Yeah.
Do you have any particular advice, or and I mean, I know you're CEO of Men's Aid, and I'm not sure if you're on the phones, but you have a team that's on the phone. So rather than getting into specifics, but parental alienation or withholding access to children, or that being used and abused, does that make up many of the calls? I know you did reference this a little earlier on, but what can be done in relation to that? Because it comes up time and time again, and it still feels like the system is not designed to recognise or address that.
I think it's improving, whereby the children are being used as access, weapons, and we hate the term parental alienation, whatever. It's toxic, the toxic term.
It's not a term I'm terribly fond of myself.
Yeah, it's not going to help anyone, but using the children to get back at a parent, targeting opposite your partner, is impacting the children. And sometimes parents forget that the children are experiencing domestic abuse. They're not witnessing it. And they're very clever, and they pick up on these things. So the best number one is to try and speak with your partner and your other half, and for parents to be reasonable. It's not the children's fault that the relationship is broken up. Relations break down, to try and put the kids first and foremost. And then if you are going a legal route and access orders are being breached, to follow through with the breaches of the access orders, to go back into court, unfortunately.
In terms of men that need to get out of the home, we know there's a struggle too in women domestic violence services in availability of property, but there are systems there to try and accommodate people. Do we have any men's shelters in Ireland or on the island of Ireland?
We don't have enough refuge for women, and we don't have any refuges for men as yet. There is a pilot programme with two housing bodies, one on the East Coast and one in towards the Midlands, that TUSLA are working with ourselves and another agency to start kind of piloting, for want of a better word. There isn't as many men coming forward with children because the children are predominantly with mum. So there hasn't been a huge need for accommodation as yet, but there has been some bespoke, there has been some issues, Greg, and where the men have been in touch with us, we've been in touch with our partners, and we've helped them get to safety.
Well, what do you say to someone who feels they are being emotionally abused, psychologically abused, or if the children are being weaponized or however? Because I think for some men and whatever, I'm sure women feel this too when it's in their direction, they can't necessarily identify it as abuse, or they just see it as it's just the relationship, or is it just, you know what I mean? Like, is it the case to ring up and have that conversation and say, right, is this situation I'm in a form of abuse?
That's correct. A lot of the calls are those calls. So men don't recognise that the abuse can happen to them because there is assumptions made that domestic abuse is a male on a female. So for the men's experience, if they're in the fog of it, a lot of the calls would be men questioning, is this domestic abuse? Because a lot of men do not want to be labelled as victims of domestic abuse because it's not comfortable with them. So we recognise it's very sensitive, it's a very complex issue, it's a very personal issue as well. But those calls are very welcome. Very welcome.
And in terms of answering those calls, as we mentioned right at the beginning, Men's Aid is Ireland's only dedicated organisation supporting men and their families. Are you able to answer all of the calls?
No, of the 9,500, we missed 1,300 calls last year.
And is that a resources issue, Katrina?
Yeah. Right. Funding and resources. No person there at the time.
Does it help that you have the Minister for Justice, Helen McEntee, launching this, in that, it's a perfect opportunity to say, well, thank you, Minister, but by the way...
Yes. And she was there on Friday, and the week ahead, we have to submit our funding for 2024. So our application comes at the right time, for want of a better word.
Okay.
And she certainly reiterated her support for all victims, and in our case, the male victim.
Katrina, thanks for working with me through the technical issues. I do appreciate it. It's just sometimes you get days like that. All right, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks,
that is Katrina Bentley, CEO of Men's Aid Ireland. 9,524 contacts made to the service in 2022. It's a big increase on 21%, up by a quarter. 1 in 4 calls were first-time callers. Unfortunately, 1,300 calls went unanswered. The experiences shared by men include emotional, psychological, physical, financial and sexual abuse, with high levels of coercively controlling relationships disclosed. The gender of the abused are 91% female, 7% male, 2% both. Okay, there you go. Now, what will happen is, over the course of the next weeks or months, and I get it, by the way, is people will say, well, you never talk about domestic violence against men. Well, we do, and we just have. Right, okay, 086 60 25,000. If you want to comment on that last conversation as well, and it's not easy, because as I say, people don't want to admit that they're in that type of a situation, or they might feel that they're weak or whatever. They shouldn't. I'm just saying that might be common reasons for people not to say, right, enough is enough, or I can do better than this, or I need to get out of this situation. But if you want to share any views on that, please get in touch with us, 086 60 25,000. That's the WhatsApp and text number, or give us a call on 074 91 25,000.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
The 9 till Noon Show with the multi-award-winning Silver Tassie Hotel. Planning dream weddings for generations. Email weddings at silvertassiehotel.ie for a brochure or your private show around.
It's your local sports club, but it's much more than that. It's a social hub, a source of community pride, a place to get passionate about. Texaco Support for Sport awards €5,000 to a sports club in every county. That's any sport, every county. All you need is a valid Games and Sports exemption number and a lot of passion. Enter before 31st of January 2024 and make your club a star. For more info, terms and conditions, see texacosupportforsport.com.
Do you need a UK address? Save hundreds of euros on custom charges shopping online with Space Hub Dairy. We provide a full virtual office address mailbox service for all your business and personal use. Save your business hundreds, possibly thousands on custom charges with Space Hub Dairy. Call 048 7187 8077 for more details.
This Christmas at Super Value, we have great offers to help you share the magic. Like Super Value Fresh Irish Strip Loin Steak, save 33%. And Villa Maria Sauvignon Blanc 6-pack case deal, €50. Exclusive to Real Rewards members only. Plus, get money off vouchers every week on the Real Rewards app too. Share the magic this Christmas with Super Value. Enjoy alcohol responsibly. T's and C's apply.
At Connect Hearing, our audiologist is available Monday to Friday for hearing tests and wax removal services at our Letterkenny Clinic in the Courtyard Shopping Centre. From now until the end of November, we are offering a free wax removal service for all those over 60 years of age. Our hearing is our social sense. Are you finding hearing more of a challenge? Call Ursula today on 07491 13296 to make an appointment. Good hearing helps us to connect to our family, friends and loved ones. Connect Hearing, connecting you to life.
This fire grate's burnt out again.
I told you, get a heavy-duty grate from Fire Grates Donegal.
But I need one right away.
Sure, they have them in stock and ready to go for stoves, open fires, back boilers, ranges, and they even make them to measure.
OK, what's their number?
Hold on a minute, I'll go and get it.
Fire Grates Donegal. Call 086 860 2012 or find them on Facebook. Fire Grates Donegal also deliver to your door. You couldn't beat that.
Now, there's a special In Conversation event at the Everglades Hotel, Derry, next Thursday, November 30th at 7:30pm. It's in aid of the Lorna Byrne Children's Foundation, supported by a partnership with Africa. And taking part will be Lorna Byrne, who is author of Angels in My Hair. Lorna, good morning to you.
Good morning. My pleasure to be talking with you.
And it's been set up for me to ask, or this has been entitled, a conversation about if you believe in angels. Now, clearly you do. But what are angels, if you know what I'm on about? Because I think we all have our own view of it. So when we talk about angels existing, what are we talking about?
Angels are, what would I say? They're a light, and I always remember asking God, what is the difference between a human being and an angel? And I was just told that God created angels long, long ago, and that they are light and that they are creatures. And I know that's a strange kind of word to be used, but they are light, and I see the guardian angel with everyone. And I see, the thing is, I see the angel physically with everyone, as if I was there in the studio with you, you would see me physically. Mm-hmm. And they're just very, very beautiful. Everything about them is kind and gentle. And they're in so many different faiths right across the world as well. Sometimes they're called by different names. but your guardian angel is one that is with you every second of your life and never leaves you and just loves you unconditionally, no matter what you may think about yourself. To your guardian angel, you are its number one. And, you know, your guardian angel is a gift from God, so why should you ignore it?
Are you of the view that every person is assigned a guardian angel on birth? Because some people might wish that their angel is, you know, their mother or their father or their son or their daughter. You know what I mean? But is that the case or not the case?
No, your mom or your grandmother or your uncle or that can never be your guardian angel. And the angels love when we say, you know, our loved one is an angel in heaven. They love that because it's such an expression of love, and it is in a sense of how we think of angels, you know, as something, you know, kind and good. But you and I and everyone out there is more than any angel ever could be, because we all have a soul, that spark of light of God. So I'm afraid the angels, I love this, but I'm afraid the angels have us on a higher pedestal than we actually have the angels.
So what is their function then?
And their function is, you know, to, how would I say it? Your guardian angel is the gatekeeper of your soul. You know, and its function mainly is to help to guide you through your life, to keep you as, what would you say, on the right path as much as possible. But I suppose the human part of us, in a sense, doesn't always believe we have a guardian angel, and we don't always, you know, listen to that inner voice or whatever way your guardian angel communicates with you. So a lot of the time we ignore that guidance. But a lot of the time as well, we do hear it and we go by it, and we don't realize that we have been even given that guidance ourselves. Mm-hmm. And again, it's...
But some might say, well, then, is it really just an extension of our consciousness and not necessarily a blessing from God?
No, I would have to say it's not an extension of your consciousness. I'm severely dyslexic, so I can't read. You know, so I haven't been educated in the same way as yourself. Wow. Sometimes I even say things backwards, and I have all kinds of codes to help me find my way through the world here. And by right, you know, I always remember when Angels in My Hair was published, a lot of college students and that, and still today the same thing happens. You know, they say, Lorna, if you could do it, then we can, you know. And I think it's about as well giving hope to people, you know. And the world today needs hope, mm-hmm. and we need to have more compassion and love in our lives. It's not your conscious mind; it's beyond that. I see the angels physically, and to me, I can't understand why you can't.
What's their physical representation?
That part is hard to describe. I know I describe them as a light, but within that light, they give a human appearance. And sometimes it can be male or it can be female, and sometimes it's neither. But the one thing I love about angels, and that is, you know, the way we have a human body and we dress ourselves with clothes. The clothing that an angel wears is part of the angel in the sense like the body in that way. So they don't have to, which I think would be great if we could do the same thing. You know, they don't have to take on and off clothing. And an angel has such depth as well. You know, they're just such a brilliant light. And I just see them in the world today, you know, helping so many people and helping us all to see, you know, that light of hope, because so many people all around the world are feeling lost, you know, in that way.
And some might feel, and particularly I think with children, forsaken in some way or other. Is that, what would you say to someone who's that emotion?
What do you mean?
Well, in that, why? How can my guardian angel or so many guardian angels allow such terrible things to happen, for an example? And I'm not questioning. Yeah. I'm just asking the question as to people might go, well, you get me?
I do, and I understand, and I often would give out to God about that. Why are so many horrific things happening in the world and children being hurt? But it's not God or the angels doing it. I'm afraid it's us human beings doing it. And that's the only way I can answer.
So we were given will, and I suppose it's what we choose to do with our will. And unfortunately, some people do it poorly. Do you communicate with people's angels, or can you communicate with them, or relate information, or what can you do if someone's sitting in front of you as it relates to their guardian angel?
What would I say? Well, sometimes when I'm giving a talk and we have questions and answers, and someone puts their hand up and they ask a question, if I'm given the answer for them, I'll give it to them. But I would always say I'm not a fortune teller. It's no point asking me.
No, you're not trying to frame it in that way. Yeah. Can you see my guardian angel through this call?
No, I can't, and I would love to. But I can't. I would have to be in the same room as
that's okay. It was not to challenge you. Yes, it wasn't a question or challenge. It was just to sort of see if it works like that. Recently,
it'd be great if it did.
Yes, of course. Recently, in my photos, I've seen an orb. The orb is orange in colour. My friends tell me that orbs are a sign of an angel. Can you ask Lorna to tell me more about that, and if different coloured orbs mean anything?
I love that, because science already has picked up orbs, in the air and everything like that. If it wasn't your camera or your phone, then it could be a sign from your guardian angel to help you. But you'd have to be sure whether it was your camera or your phone, wherever the photograph is coming from. Mm-hmm. And an angel can use an orb as a sign for you as well.
A caller asks, on numbers, angel numbers of any significance?
I hear a lot about that, and I always notice that sometimes a person gets so fixated, if I'm saying that word properly,
you are, yeah,
on numbers. And what I would say to that person, if it is a number that is a sign for you, don't get fixated on it as such. Don't keep going looking for it, because more than likely you're making a mistake. It'll just pop up when it's needed.
Mm-hmm. A caller says, I sometimes feel like someone's laying in bed beside me. I feel like there is a presence. It's not one I fear. Could that be your angel?
Well, that could be her guardian angel, or the soul of a loved one, giving her comfort in the sense of, reassurance. But it may not actually be the angel or the soul actually lying in the bed beside her, but she just feels the presence. So
I'm going to use just the words that are associated with these things, because it's the easiest way to describe it. Like, could you have, are ghosts a different thing to angels? Do you believe in ghosts? Spirits, spirit world, you know what I mean? I was just trying to use the right word, but to get the point across.
An angel isn't a ghost for a start. Let's just clear that. But sometimes we use the word a ghost, or sometimes we use the word spirit, and sometimes it is a soul that is just visiting or passing by, or somebody sees the soul of someone, that died a while ago, and they're going to visit someone. And sometimes that's allowed to happen, or sometimes it can even be seen in a photograph, someone looking at a photograph and it suddenly changes, and just for a brief second in that way. And sometimes, I met a lady recently, and I just smiled at her, and she just said, when she was out on the crowded street, she had lost her beautiful daughter, and a young woman was walking up towards her in her direction. And for just a split second, she thought she was seeing her daughter. And I said to her, that more than likely was the soul of your daughter. How can I say it? Stepping into the human being for a brief second on the face, and you saw your daughter for a brief second.
Yeah. Now, then you would believe in signs, be it a robin, a feather. I even spoke to someone who was at a funeral, and a crisp packet threw across the grave that was the person's favourite crisps, and in that moment they believed that was a sign. So, and that's just one particular example that was related to me. So if people believe that there's something in their mind saying that means something and it connects me to that other person, well then surely you would suggest they have to trust that, because if that's what it feels, then that's probably what it is.
Yeah, I would say most of the time, trust that completely. Like, you know, God and the angels give us many, many signs, and you know how hard it is, you know, even to prove that God exists. You know, even science is having a row over that, you know, the spiritual side of us. And it's in a sense based on faith, you know, where the student or a person has faith that they can run the marathon and they do it, you know. So I think it's, again, that word you use, trust, to have trust, because it gives you courage and strength as well.
Callers are asking how you can better tap into your guardian angel, or how you can tap into your guardian angel.
To me, it's very simple, and people are asking that all over the world. So just lately I'm saying to them, you know, when you wake up in the morning, just say good morning to your guardian angel, and just, you know, ask your guardian angel to help you through the day. And maybe when the end of the day comes, you can sit down and think about your day and see where you may believe that your guardian angel gave you a helping hand, or you may at some stage say, well, my guardian angel didn't seem to help me today, and that's okay.
Numbers again, I keep seeing the numbers 888. Is that anything to do with angels? I know you kind of were a bit reluctant when I asked a number related question earlier. Because it depends on your time zones, and there's so many variables that are probably that are outside the relationship that you're talking of, that I find it hard that it could be part of the influence. But anyway, that's just my observation.
Yeah, what would you say? An awful lot of people are into numbers as such, but as you said, numbers relate to so many different things. And that's why I just say to people, you know, don't focus on numbers as such in such a way that it's ruling your life.
Well, you also would imagine you would also imagine that obviously some people can't use numbers through dyslexia or whatever it might be. You would also thought that if what we are talking of is true, then that they would have been able to overcome that people would not be excluded because of a difficult. Also, some people never are educated as to numbers. Most people in this world don't even have access to the internet. Another caller.
That is right.
Yeah, my mum passed away in January. I miss her terribly. Her name was Rosaline. I've been seeing the letter R everywhere I go. Even in the supermarkets, I see the letter R in all the products. Is this a sign from her, or am I crazy? Well, you're not crazy. It could be a frequency illusion, which is something similar to that. You never see a Renault Clio until you buy a Renault Clio, and then you realise that every second car on the road's a Renault Clio. So at the very least, it could be a frequency illusion. So you're not going mad, please, listener. But do you believe there's a significance beyond what I've just outlined, Lorna?
No, I think what you've outlined is very clear and very beautiful as well. And her mother has, you know, just passed away. It's not long. And her name was Rosaline. So the letter Rose, you know, is forefront in her mind. So sometimes maybe it is a sign, but maybe as well, you know, it's just coming forward all of the time. She's seeing it everywhere, just as you said, the Renault. But if it's giving her comfort, I would say to her, if, say, in a year's time or something, you know, when she has got through a little bit more of the grief, because she's really missing her mom really hard. So that means she has a coldness in her chest, and grief is different for everyone. So it could take her a long time.
Yeah, it is a very difficult experience to lose someone, and you have to allow yourself the space, don't you, to see the wood from the trees as well, because that could become obsessive and actually just feed into the grief. It's not to disprove it, but you would just have to be careful, wouldn't you, Lorna, that this doesn't get sort of attached to your grief in a way?
Yeah, and I would say that it's just like the numbers. Don't get fixated on it. In that way. The best thing I would say for that might help her with her grief is write a letter to her mom. Physically write it and read it out loud to herself what she has written. And cry and talk about your mom. Your mom loved you. And I know her mom, Rosaline, I love the name. I haven't heard it in years. My best friend as a child was called Rosaline. So it's beautiful to hear. But to know that the soul of her mom is in and around her at different times, helping her through this grief. But the grief never really heals. We just learn how to live with it. You will always miss your mom. But I know she's in heaven. And I know she's happy, and I know she's young again.
Lastly, I have polycystic ovary syndrome. I've struggled to conceive for years. I've been having recurring dreams of my grandmother holding a beautiful baby girl with curly blonde hair and blue eyes. I feel so drawn to this baby, as if it is mine. Is my grandmother sending me a message? Is she helping me get pregnant?
Well, I love that, and I know this woman is trying to become pregnant, and I know it's very hard to become pregnant with, I can't pronounce
the condition we talked of.
Yeah,
yes.
The condition as such, But remember, there's loads of children out in the world, I'm being told to say to her, that want a mom, and they don't have a mom, and they want the love of a mom. So don't pass not being a mother by just wanting to carry your own child. And I know that can hurt some people because they only want to carry their own child, because I've met many women who just focused on wanting to become pregnant and never did. God didn't send them a little soul. And then it was too late for them to become a mom, to adopt a child or foster a child. There's so many children out there in the world that need a mom and a dad, just need that love.
You can hear more from Lorna Byrne at a special conversation event at the Everglades Hotel, Derry. It's next Thursday, November 30th at 7:30 p.m. It's in aid of the Lorna Byrne Children's Foundation, supported by a partnership with Africa. Where's the best place for people to inquire about tickets, Lorna?
Well, I know you can buy tickets at the door, and if you just look up lornabyrne.com as well. And we have Waterstones Bookshop is supporting us as well. I think it's in Foyle's I'm not very good.
Foyle's, yeah. No, that's perfect.
Shopping centre. So it's lovely to have a bookshop support us as well. And there's so many children out there in the world. You just have to watch the news. Yeah. The child saying, "What did I do wrong? I did nothing wrong."
Just very finally, a listener was visiting a graveyard after having a second miscarriage. On the path in front of her were two white feathers lying. It brought me such solace. Does Lorna think that was from the souls of the babies? Well, if she felt that, then that's exactly what it was.
Yes, that is exactly what it was. I hope she picked them up and put them in her pocket at least, or held them in her hand.
Take care of yourself, Lorna. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
And a pleasure talking with you. God bless.
Too, Lorna. Bye-bye. That's Lorna Byrne. Some of you may or may not agree or may not agree with what Lorna has to say. I'm here just to ask questions, not to judge. And lots of people will get comfort from that as well. All right, we'll be back with the weather and a wrap-up, actually, after the break.
Christmas party nights at the Silver Tassie. Drinks reception, 4-course festive meal, live music by the Logues, Jim Devine, and more power to your elbow. For dates and bookings, call the Silver Tassie Hotel, proud sponsors of today's show.
Make it a roast dinner to remember with Dunnes Stores. Enjoy Bord Bia quality assured beef sirloin roasts from just $14.99 each. A selection of show-stopping sides like cauliflower cheese and potato gratin, any two only €5.50. And your choice of delicious desserts like lemon roulade or strawberry cheesecake, 2 for €10. Plus, with our 10.50 grocery voucher, you save even more. Make Christmas for everyone at Dunnes Stores. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used to next grocery shop of €50 or more.
Donegal County Council would like to invite residents of the the Donegal Town and Ballybofey Stranraer areas, members of the public and other interested parties to participate in the third public consultation for the Barnesmore Gap Greenway project. The project is currently in Phase 2 options selection, and the purpose of the consultation is to inform the public of and invite feedback on the emerging preferred route corridor that has been identified and is being considered. The public consultation will take place in Jackson's Hotel Ballybofey on Monday 20th of November and in the Abbey Hotel Donegal Town on Tuesday the 21st of November between 12 midday and 8 p.m. each day. Donegal County Council staff and their design consultants will be present on both days to listen to and to register your views. For additional project information, please visit the dedicated project website at barnesmoregapgreenway.ie or contact the Donegal National Roads Office on 074 9724500 or by email at design@dnrdo.ie.
Remember a loved one with a personalised memorial, acknowledgement or wallet cards from BizPrint using your choice of wording and background. Call in and speak to Catherine at BizPrint, Port Road, Letterkenny, or call 9177955.
You know me, I do like a home that's warm and cosy during these cold winter months. In fact, the warmer and cosier, the better. That's why I insist on Willow Warm long burning briquettes. They're grown and made here in Ireland, and they're 100% carbon neutral. So Willow Warm briquettes are good for the environment, for the country, and your pocket. Willow Warm, the brighter, cleaner, greener way to a cosy home. See willowwarm.ie for stockists.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by Grant. From condensing oil and HVO biofuel boilers to heat pumps and underfloor heating, you can trust Grant to heat your home. Visit grant.ie.
Fresh and breezy today with a mix of sunny spells and showers. Showers becoming more isolated during the afternoon with long dry spells developing. Temperatures 10 to 12 degrees in a fresh and gusty northwest wind. Congratulations to Maggie Nesbitt in St. Johnston. You correctly said that carrots are good for your eyes. So carrots are good for your eyes. You've won a €50 fuel voucher from Kelly's Mountaintop. We'll have another one up for grabs tomorrow. Now, just to let you know that you should stay tuned to Around the Northwest with John Breslin today, live from the Mount Errigal Hotel from 12, of course. It is part of a celebration of #BuyDonegal. The 2023 campaign will run from Monday, November 20th and run for 5 exciting weeks until December 22nd, providing ample opportunity for festive stocking fillers. Stay tuned to be with a chance to win a €100 one-for-all voucher with John Breslin on Around the Northwest, courtesy of our friends at Virgin Media, who are turning this Black Friday red with amazing offers. Find out more at virginmedia.ie. See you tomorrow at 9.
Christmas party nights